shaved all your hair off.
Happy New Year. I've got my head on upside down.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
How are you, brother?
I'm good. What happened there? Is that like a proper barber shop, or did Kate just get the dog shears on you?
No, this is me. I've got some trimmers
Did you
and
find
stuff.
them in a house?
No, no, no.
Paid for them?
No, actually, these ones were for my birthday. Kate bought them for me for my birthday. But previously, I'd had a set for about 15 years, I think, that were plug-in ones, and they're really awkward to sort of like use in the bathroom, you know. So,
Slightly blunt by now?
they are, yeah, yeah. These ones are good though, and they've lasted about 3 different goes so far. So
Splendid.
mm,
Splendid. I have not had a haircut.
no, I can see,
No.
and it suits you just fine.
Well, it's still here.
You still have that lion's mane, which is beautiful.
That hobo look.
No, I think they all look like me now, don't they? Hobos.
Hobo.
You know?
Do hobos have
Well, maybe
electric clippers?
no, but I think they kind of like, don't they keep shaved because of all the mites and stuff?
Okay. Maybe there's a chain store called Hobo Hair where you can get it done for like just a dime or something.
You get those little candles put in your ear, and you know where they flick the flame to melt your ear hair and stuff.
Just in case you should get a job interview.
Yeah.
Nobody wants their hair caught in the door of the train while you're hobo train jumping.
No, well, I tell you, the reason it went in the first place was I've been working I've been doing some site work down in Rill, and we were converting these townhouses into flats for a major building company, and I was doing the plumbing there with another guy, and we were running around like blue ass flies because there was 2 plumbers and about 40 joiners and about 40 plasterers. So we were having to try and keep on top in front of everybody else, and it wasn't working. But I had it all tied back in a ponytail. You remember how long it was?
Yeah.
And literally, I spent that much time on the floor that I was just brushing up after myself, you know.
Right.
And it was tiresome. But this one time, we'd gone up the scaffolding, and I was having to put core drills in for the soil pipes. So I was having to drill a 4-inch hole through two skins of brick with a drill, 3 stories up, balancing precariously on this scaffolding, and the wind blew, and even though my hair was in a ponytail, it caught straight into the drill, and the drill went straight into my head like that. I was all wrapped up in it, and I had to literally carry myself down, holding one hand holding the drill, the other hand grabbing hold of the scaffolding as I made my way down to the floor so I could get somebody to come and help me to remove the drill. So that was kind of like, you know, that was what was the last straw, really.
The image of you with like the drill in your teeth by the lead, and then trying to get the little chuck out of your pocket to release the bit. Oh man.
It was pretty horrendous, to be honest. And I thought, I can't do that. I can't do that again. Can't go through that again.
How did you feel? Because I cut all mine off in, I probably never told you this, in about 2000.
Right.
I have never told you this. I decided it would be a good idea to join Kent Police.
Oh, right. Okay.
And to get a proper job. So what would I have been in 2000? That's 33, I think. Yeah, it must have been 33. And I thought I'd get a proper job, and I applied, and they went, "Yeah, we'll interview you and stuff." And I went to the hairdressers, and I went, cut it all off, and she refused to do it. And then the girl standing next to her went, "I'll do it." And it was proper, like up the back, where you can sort of feel the stubble, you know?
Yeah.
And I just looked like I was pretending to be somebody else, which I guess I was. And I went through the interview. I'll tell you a funny story about the interview. On day one, you go to Maidstone and you do this like 3-day intensive thing where there's like a fitness test and they interview you hard and ask you questions about your finances, which didn't go down well. But in the first hour, you're in this big like school room,
right?
And they show you this like a 5-minute TV program, and you've got this like sheet of blank paper in front of you, and then the guy reels off some questions, and the first question was the girl in the red coat walking to the left of the river or to the right of the river? And I'm sitting there with my pen and I'm thinking, what girl?
What river?
And I thought, I'm on a loser from here. And yeah, that was kind of that. And then I left it. I obviously didn't get in, thank God. I think I didn't get in the end because I said in a later interview, he said, "Why do you want to be a policeman?" And I said, "I don't. I want to be a detective like Jack Regan." And that was kind of the end of it. But that was true. I think I just wanted to be a detective. And then I let it grow again for about 15 years. And then it just got knotted, and it just gets knotty and knackered, and I just went, whack it off. Yeah. And then I looked like I was pretending to be someone else again. So
you've grown it back out again.
Yeah.
No, dude.
Eleanor does it now with the dog scissors. we take it in turns to sit like good boys.
You both run from the hairdryer though.
Don't do hair dryers anymore. How did you feel when you got it first done? It's weird, isn't it?
It is really weird because I didn't know what I wanted it to be. I just knew that I wanted it short.
Plus your hair kind of knows that it's long, doesn't it? So when you cut it all off, what you've got left just does what the hell it likes.
Yeah. It was weird because I kind of ended up with a flat top. So it kind of like looked a bit kind of
like house party.
Yeah.
Eraser
story all about how my life got. It's like, no, this is not good. It was done by a girl in Shotton, and funnily enough, she didn't want to cut it off either. So what she did was, she tied it back into a ponytail, brushed it all out, tied it back into a ponytail, and then cut the ponytail off and gave it to me. So I had this kind of like 2-foot long ponytail that
was a tie.
Yeah, tie. No. What am I supposed to do with this apart from sort of like bewoe myself the fact that I cut it all off, Yeah, I felt like somebody else. I felt like I was pretending to be somebody else. But I also felt kind of, I don't know, probably a little bit relieved, I suppose.
It puts a certain bit of your life behind you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that
wasn't what I was looking for, to be honest.
No, but you've got a drill cut in it. I get it.
Yeah, that was it. It was more a practical kind of thing, I wasn't afraid to be, to be who I was there. It was just, like I said, it was more a practical kind of thing, But yeah, it was really, really strange afterwards, and sort of like, and I noticed that sort of like certain people treated me differently as well,
and throw stones at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that
Didn't,
as well. It was weird.
yeah, yeah. So in one way I regret it, and in another way I don't.
Takes an awful
Um,
long time to grow it back, though, doesn't it?
yeah, and I've got to that stage now. You know, when you were kind of like a teenager and you kind of like first started growing it, and it got past your collar, and it was sort of, you know, and you were thinking, "Yay, you know, I'm looking metal," and then you look at your pictures and you go, "Oh no, I'm really not." No,
Yeah.
I, I, I look like one of the Beatles. You know, you know, no, that looks shit. So cut it off again now before you know.
No, it's a weird thing, all right. So,
Yeah.
here we go. I'm sure everyone is really interested in that. Prelude to our top 10 TV shows of all time.
Top 10 haircuts of all time.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one. That'd
And
be a good one.
funnily enough, Fresh Prince isn't in there.
Yeah. Joanna Lumley's Purdy cut was pretty good.
On her.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't suit me.
Dennis Waterman. No, there's another one. See, that's just, you know, that's that sort of that kind of like, you know, 70s come 80s kind of, you know, really my hair doesn't have an identity. So
That'd be a weird list to do, right? Top 10 haircuts.
yeah,
Wow. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I think probably
The Ina Sharples.
Dave Mustaine would be in there. He's got great hair, hasn't he? Or he
Yeah.
did have great.
Oh, I know who'd be top of my list. Claudio Sanchez from Coheed.
All right.
He's got hair.
That's a mane and a half, isn't it? That.
Yeah, no kidding. So Claudio Sanchez, the woman who played Ina Sharples, Joanna Lumley. It's going to be a good list. Dear me.
We need time to think this one through.
I think so. My plan is to do 5 each today and 5 each another time. And I think this one's going to go and go.
Okay.
Because this one is a bit more in doing this list. I realized like you're the movie guy and I'm definitely the TV guy. So this sat a lot more comfortably with me than movies for some reason.
Right. Okay.
That's a weird one.
I've got so many on here.
500.
But, but I realised that sort of like most of them are quite modern.
I know, so are mine actually.
And I'm not sure if that's a conscious thing or if it's just a kind of like, you know, well, I like that, but this was better and TV got better and
I was going to say TV got a lot better, didn't it?
Yeah. You know, and there's some obvious stuff in there that I've probably left out, like Only Fools and Horses,
Yeah.
which and Faulty Towers, which are just incredible. But I kind of like it's that familiarity breeds contempt thing where you've seen them all so many times. You kind of you're kind of used to the effect that it has on you.
Yeah, yeah. Weird, isn't it? I've got 3 shows from the 70s,
Oh, okay.
and then the rest are all after the late 90s, I think.
Right.
Which is weird. So I've seen nothing from the 80s.
Well, what was the 80s? What was that? That was all Blake Seven and tripods, sort of that kind of stuff, wasn't it?
I don't there's a couple of contenders. So Auf Wiedersehen Pet was pretty good,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but certainly not top 10 worthy. 80s. I don't know. I guess the tough one, isn't it? Nothing really happened. They were just showing repeats from the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. And the 70s, what was the 70s was all kind of like the Hulk and Starsky and Hutch and Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. Should we dive in?
Go, brother, go.
Do you want to? You go first. You go first.
Okay. I shall go with. Shall I get Lost out of the way first?
Yes.
Lost.
I think you should, because I actually took it off my list.
Right. Okay.
And that was about half an hour ago.
Right. I was still moving ticks around at the same time.
I'm glad you put it in there, because it deserved to be on there.
I can't tell you how disappointed I was with the end, but for the rest of the show, the rest of the seasons, I thought it was just phenomenal.
Me too.
You know,
six months, 6 years, 6 months half the year.
Yeah, it was just. It was one of those things that it was like a real page turner, wasn't it? You couldn't wait to find out what was going on with this, that, and the other. Who was coming on next? What was who was making that noise? Where that smoke was coming from? Who all those things. It was just incredible, and of course, it sort of like it jump started careers for people as well, didn't it? So
we should have known though that it was impossible to end.
Yeah, and I think this was the first,
you don't, do you?
This was the first time though that I think social media played a part in destroying a TV show for me or a movie for me, because there was so much speculation about it that you couldn't help people kind of like saying, "Oh, well, of course, they're all dead," and you're going, "Well, no, no, it can't be that. It can't be that. It's got to be something more than that," And sort of like going through the whole sort of like scenario, and well, what else could it be? What how is it? And then you kind of like, oh, it could be this, it could be that, it could be. Oh no, they're dead. Oh, for fuck's sakes!
It was just totally thrilling, brilliant TV, and I regret taking it off my list. So, but interestingly, it's totally unwatchable for me again.
Is it?
I've tried a few times and I can't get past episode 1.
Right.
I don't know why.
No, I've not tried. I'll be honest. Most TV series I can watch multiple times. I've got no problem with it. But this one, for some reason, I have not tried.
There must be loads of stuff I've forgotten about. Absolutely, like most of it. But it was a good time on TV, because I don't know if this is on your list. It's not on mine, but 24 was around at the same time.
Yeah, 24. It's not on my list. But it's Again, that was
great.
real
storytelling, wasn't it? Week to week.
Yeah, and they played with the format as well, didn't they? Which I mean, the only thing that spoiled that really for me was the fact that because it was American, it was geared around adverts. So you only kind of got 40 minutes of an hour every episode, and I think that kind of really let it down, to be honest. But apart from that, it was great. I still can't decide whether or not I love or hate Dennis Hopper as well. He was the big bad in the first one, wasn't he? He played the kind of like the Russian kind of.
Oh, you're talking about 24.
Yeah.
Sorry. Was Dennis Hopper in Lost? Yes.
Sorry.
No, they're right. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just kind of like I'm meandering.
No, I mean 24 ran out of steam badly, didn't it? But Lost didn't. They just didn't know how to finish.
No, it was like the sort of like the ultimate Chuck Berry song, wasn't it? Really, kind of like just keep playing the same bit until you run out. But yeah, I say that it was literally down to the last episode, wasn't it? I think, and then it was just kind of just so disappointing. And I know that other people have said similar things about other TV series, where it's kind of like,
Yeah.
And we'll probably cover some of those as well.
But that was the worst.
Yeah, but I absolutely loved it. I loved Lost. Loved it.
You can't throw 6 years of awesome TV under the bus over the last episode.
No.
No, superb program. Did you know? And I've watched this and it's great. Did you know there was a Lost spin-off called The River?
No.
There you go. That's this week's Triv, The River. And it's kind of like let me have a look. It's the same kind of plotting, but it's about this guy on a boat in the Amazon.
Right.
I think it's called The River. Hang on a minute. Are there any Lost spin-offs? Lost missing pieces? No, we don't want that. I'm sure it's called The River. Maybe it's not an official spin-off. It's definitely called The River. So I know something that Google doesn't. There you go. Anyway, yeah, The River. And if it's not called that, I'll let you know. It's only short. It's only about 10 episodes, but it's a similar kind of thing. Yeah, Lost. Excellent start. Talking about awful endings, being the big hard bastard man that I am, I cried at the end of my first one. And I watched it about 9, 10, 15 times since, and I've cried every time I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah. Life on Mars.
Life on Mars. Oh, wow.
I think it's the best TV show of all time.
Right.
Absolutely love it.
It's superb. It is superb.
The end just gave me a right good kicking. Brilliant. Right. And I won't tell you what the end was, just in case
anybody's
just in case there's any retards who haven't seen it.
Seeing his Nate's already ruined Lost.
Yeah, but that's quite an investment, isn't it? 6 years of TV. There's some not on your list, not anywhere near your list.
Yeah, it's near my list, and Ashes to Ashes, of course, both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked Ashes to Ashes, but it didn't have that same.
No.
Bloody hell, they've done the impossible.
Fire up the Quattro.
There's some good trivia.
I remembered. You'll remember as well. I can't remember what his name was, but he lived next door to you, I think, didn't he? And he bought that Quattro, and he spent like 2 years doing it up. Do you remember? He like moved down from Yorkshire with his girlfriend, and I'm sure he was like next door but one to you.
Oh, not the guy with Bones the Whippet.
Maybe
it was a real scruffy hobo bastard.
Yeah.
It
just reminded. As soon as I saw that one, it was when Gene went fire up the Quattro. I just thought, fucking hell, he's next door. He's next door to Sean.
Oh dear. Here's some. Originally, right? They'd envisioned Neil Morrissey as the central character. Oh, shudders, right?
Yeah.
And it was originally going to be called Ford Granada. So when people lash out at TV executives, I say sometimes they're fucking right.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Because this was after Men Behaving Badly, wasn't it?
So, yeah, totally. It's 2006.
So Neil Morrissey would have been following on from his comedy role in that.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I can't see how that would have worked at all, to be honest.
No, me neither. I
can't see him in that role at all.
Well, originally, the BBC went, "No, we don't want it," and they tried to sell it to Channel 4. which also wouldn't have worked. It's funny how things work out, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Stephen King's favorite show of all time.
Is it really?
Yeah, Stephen King. There's loads of good trivia over this. It took them 8 years to get it on the screen. That's quite some faith in your show, isn't it?
Yeah.
But just in case anyone doesn't know, Life on Mars is about Sam Tyler, who's a detective in, well, let's assume 2006, who gets knocked over by a van. And when he wakes up, he's in 1973, which is just great in a totally just fish out of water foreign environment, isn't it?
What would you do? What would you do if you got knocked over and woke up in 1973? It would just be fucking great, wouldn't it?
It would. I can't remember who won any of the cups or any of the horse racing winners, so I wouldn't win any great amount of money. You could go and see some damn good bands, though.
You'd be there right at the beginning of things like Black Sabbath and Slade and Sweet and
Be nuts, wouldn't it? I'd go and tell my mum to buy me some clothes that weren't quite as embarrassing as they maybe wear. Because there's a lot
yeah.
of that going on in Life on Mars, isn't there? With he finds himself and his mum. It's really weird. I won't spoil it for anyone, but
We've had this conversation previously, though, haven't we?
we
It's like
have.
things that you desperately regret when you remember it, and sort of like I remember that this god awful fucking green tracksuit that my mum bought me because it was kind of like a neutral color, so I didn't have to sort of like look like I was supporting any one team as I was growing up. I looked like fucking Kermit in this thing, honest to God. Because you remember, I not only was I tall, but I was super fucking skinny at that point as well. So I was a proper beanpole, you know, and this bloody green tracksuit, dear God, you know.
But at least we didn't have to grow up when everyone thought wearing a shell suit was cool.
No, that's true.
Because it
That's,
wasn't. I'll take my blue tracksuit over a bloody shell suit any day.
yeah, that's very true.
But things were simpler then, weren't they? I mean, I remember going to school. I've got pictures of me in my. I've got like this white shirt with brown roses on it, and I'm wearing a tie that I remember was on a bit of elastic. That just took the elastic under the collar, and then I got shorts on, knee length socks, and sandals, and like a haircut like Richard O'Sullivan in Man About the House, which I sported most of my childhood years. Nothing wrong with that. Cool guy.
No, I kind of yeah, that's pretty cool actually. I had a Johnny Ramone haircut, not and it was only because my mum cut my hair. You know, I mean, in those days, you wouldn't dream of going to a barber's, would you, or a hairdresser's?
Our
Just
neighbour
it
used to do it.
wasn't done.
No, our neighbour used to cut mine, and if it was wrong, I just used to go and get my mum's hair conditioner and slick it all back, so I looked almost tried to look like Shaking Stevens instead. Which is great when you've got curly hair because
Yeah.
it just looked like a massive knob. Ah, dear. So you're single, you say? That's all good stuff.
I'll get me coat.
Yeah.
I've got a.
Well, hang on, I don't own one. I've just got this big cardigan my gran knitted me.
With two holes in the cuff where your thumbs go through.
Dear lordy lord.
Oh yeah, no, I've got a picture of of me at my infant school or my juniors school, with in the football team, and I was only there for, I think I was only there for a year. It was when we just moved up here, and the I was I was in the back row of the team, and I was kind of like bending my knees as well, and I'm still about 12 inches taller than everybody else. Oh dear. So, so you know, I would have been no good on the parapet, me. You know.
Superb stuff. What you got next?
Brilliant. Right. Okay. Shall I go? I'm a bit kind of like, I don't know. So some really obvious stuff. So I'm going to go. I'll go off the wall a little bit, and I shall go Dead Like Me,
Dead
which was
like
only
me.
yeah.
Dead
It
like
was
me.
only it was only 2 series and a movie.
Is that Anna Friel? No, that's Pushing Up Daisies, right?
No, this is I don't remember her name, but it's got Mandy Patinkin in it as a Reaper. And what happens is there's a group of Reapers in modern day America. I can't remember what city it is. And what they do is they're given the main guy is given the supervisor guy is given a diary and of the dates where everybody dies and the dates and times, and he hands out these post-it notes to the rest of his team every morning at a Waffle House. So there you go, you know, you've got these people, you've got these people, and the idea is that they go out to where these people are going to get killed for whatever reason, and they take their soul literally just before these people die,
right?
And then the body dies, and then they take them to wherever they're going to go from there. And it starts off with this girl she's just gone for a job interview, started a new job. She's gone out for her lunch, and she's sat down in a square, and this plane explodes. You see the plane exploding, but you don't see the relation to what's happening with her and everything until she gets killed by the toilet seat from this plane. So from then on, for the rest of the series, she is known by the rest of the Reapers as Toilet Seat Girl. And of course, then she doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to go to where she's supposed to be going. So she kicks back on it and becomes a Reaper herself then. And then it's literally just sort of like, you know, the trials and tribulations of these people trying to sort of like, you know, go about their daily routine and taking people's souls out of their bodies before they die and stuff. It's really cool.
That sounds good.
Really good. Yeah. It is really good. Really funny, a little bit grim sometimes, you know. And yeah, excellent.
Why haven't I seen that?
I don't know.
Okay. Noted.
But there's two series, and I would recommend the series over the movie. The movie didn't work for me at all. Didn't have the same, you know, didn't have the same interest, didn't have the same wit, didn't have the same drama. None of it.
Yeah.
Just completely, you know, completely didn't work for me.
Right. Well, where do I go now?
There's so much.
I'm going to go for one that it might be on your list. If it's not, you've been remiss.
Mm.
And that would be Monkey. Hang on a minute, I gotta let the dog up. What's up, mate? What do I do? You want to go outside? Okay. This next 10 minutes might get broken up a bit. Yeah, monkey. What a great show. You must have spent your early mid teenage years in front of it like I did.
Yeah, and I've got the DVD box sets as well. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But it wasn't, it didn't have the same impact on me as the water margin did. So I've included neither of those.
The water margin was quite serious, wasn't it?
Yeah.
By comparison.
But it was still kind of supernatural in the fact that sort of like, it was a group of heroes who all had sort of superpowers, if you like. One guy could run really fast. One guy could, it was all they were all sort of like slightly different. So this group of heroes that came together. So it was much the same as Monkey, I guess, if you like, where the Monkey was the Monkey King, wasn't he? And he had his friends. Sandy, who was he the Fish King or something?
Sandy was the cannibal fish monster.
Yeah, and Pigsy.
Pigsy was. Wait a minute. He was a. I can't remember now what he was. A pig.
Clues in the name.
Now, I was just reading through some of this Triv stuff, and the actor who played Pigsy in the first season got replaced in the second season. I don't remember that.
No.
And that was because he thought the show was crap, and he accepted the role on another show. Now, I think this page I'm on is quite old, but I think they might all be dead.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the youngest one would have to be Trippy Tarker, wouldn't it?
Well, interestingly, she died at 27.
Wow. And but at the time, you were never quite sure if she was a boy or.
Yeah.
Were you?
Boy George, eat your hair out.
They played that sort of like androgynous thing with her really well.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be a man. What? What do you need? Come say hi. Come say hi. Okay. Come up. Coming up. Here, look.
Oh, hello, Hector.
What do you need?
Hello.
I don't know what you want. Not paying you any attention. Do you want your cheese? Do you want to go back in? Yeah? You want your cheese? 1 minute.
He's a cheese hound.
You want the cheese? No? You want the cheese? All right. Apparently, we need our dinner warmed up. I'll end this. I'll fire you a link in 5. Don't go away.
Holy travel agent, Batman. Are you really going to Egypt? Holy taxidermy. Holy hi-fi. Holy false front. Holy smoke. What do we do now, Batman? Holy skyrocket.
So in the meantime, while Hector was having his dinner warmed,
yeah,
I found some mad thing on YouTube called I've pressed the button now and I've broken it. Irish people try the world's hottest sauces too.
The sequel.
And it's just lots of Irish people sitting there at a table having chicken wings with ridiculously hot sauces on them.
Any good?
It's just odd. I feel I have missed out now because I haven't seen one.
I'm sure it's there.
It's never quite as good when you see the sequel first.
No. A strange show.
Yeah.
I can't make that segue back into Monkey.
No. Sorry.
All right. As far as I can tell, they're still alive. Tripitaka, what's her name? Masako Natsumi, is brown bread. She died of leukemia at 27 in 1984.
Wow. How old was she while she was playing Tripitaka?
Younger than that? That's all I got. She was 27 in 84. Monkey is from... When did Monkey begin? Monkey came out in... Who knows? None of these articles simply tell me. People are so bad with trivia these days. They'll just publish anything. Those sideburns weren't real. Oh, no shit. He wasn't a real monkey either, right? But what's his name? Masaki Sakai. He was in a band in the 60s called the Spiders.
Was he?
Magical, right?
Well, kind of like Alice Cooper, the Spiders.
Yeah, I guess.
No, they were earwigs, or no, they were the Spiders, weren't they? Spiders,
yeah. And the earwigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, huh? Quote of the millennium is, "I was mobbed with fans every morning who would wait for me as I went to work," he said in 2000. "I would give them cans of juice." Going around the supermarket and going, the fans will be out in the morning.
Let me just load up my rucksack.
Let's get some cans.
Does it go into further detail? Does he
It doesn't actually. However, post Monkey, he hosted a TV show called It's the Kitchen.
Right.
And in 2011, when he was 61, I think, he married his third wife, who was 22 years younger than him.
What a dude.
And then bloody blah, Tripitaka, Pigsy, who is in Outrage the Final Chapter, which is a Yakuza movie, which I've seen, and I didn't know it was him. And then Sandy hosted an entertainment talk show.
Just a minute. How many... You saw him in Outrage the Final Chapter. How many outrages were there before the final chapter?
Possibly about 9 or 10.
Oh my word. It's kind of like hard boiled.
Yeah, it'd be like Hellraiser, I think. I may be wrong, so don't quote me.
Oh no, the law of diminishing returns.
I'm going to finish with Shiro Kishibe, who played Sandy, left acting only to go bankrupt after investing too much money in antiques. Not blow, coke, and hookers. Too much money in antiques.
And to be fair, his haircut links nicely back to our conversation at the very beginning.
We are the Segway brothers. Interestingly, and I don't remember, I've seen Monkey so many times. It says, this is like an article about the cast of Monkey. And then after Sandy, it says Horse. Shuni Fujimura played Horse in Monkey. I'm like, no, he didn't. There was There was only three dudes. I don't
Don't
remember
remember.
anyone called Horse.
No.
He's in Death Note and Death Note 2. This
Ah,
guy.
I've seen Death Note.
Yeah, good film.
Yeah.
And Horses, when it was dubbed into English, Horses' lines were spoken by Andrew Sachs. Well, I don't remember that at all.
Drew Sachs? Manuel? what what a guy to choose to do your overdubs.
And let me just send you, I don't know if you can see this. I'm sending you a picture of Horse. It would involve you pressing buttons, probably.
Oh, well, yeah, I can see it. It's coming through. It's coming through now. A horse. Right.
I've never seen that guy in my life.
So the terrifying thing is, from the picture show me, he looks completely human. So what is the bit that makes him horse?
Maybe he turned into a. Oh, hang on. I can't remember now. It's so long since I've seen it. Did Tripitaka's horse have a human embodiment?
I have no idea.
No, me neither. Damn, I'm going to have to
watch it all again.
Watch it all again. I thought it was brilliant at the time.
It's not. It's not like the full Monty thing, man. No, why do they call you horse?
I'm guessing not. Oh, what a great film that was. Now, I saw somewhere here, just to wrap it up, that the final season was never aired in the UK until 2002, when somebody could finally be asked translating it. So I'm assuming that on your DVD box set, the last season will have different voice actors.
Do you know what?
It's still shrink wrapped.
It is still the first season isn't. The rest of it is. I'm assuming I'm not going to win any prizes for keeping it shrink wrapped, to be honest.
Well, you never know.
For sale, eBay. Season 2 and 3 of Monkey Shrink Wrapped.
Yeah. Probably charge an extra £1 for that on eBay. Anyway, that's my my second entry into the annals of absolute true facts when it comes to top television.
That's a terrific choice. That is a terrific choice. And now I'm looking at all these things and I'm realizing that nearly every one of them is now American as well, which is really disappointing.
No, it's okay because no, half of mine left are American.
I have stuff here that's definitely not American, but it's kind of like, yeah, but it was good, but
give us a little roll call.
It's just been edged out. Okay, so I've got Close But No Cigar, Waking the Dead.
Love that show. Brilliant. And I wish I'd remembered to put it on mine, but I didn't. Yeah. I love that show.
That's a great show. That's a great show. And there was a spin-off as well called The Body Farm, wasn't there? Which is
with pathologist woman. What's her name?
Yeah.
What is her name? Whatever her name was.
She was in Game of Thrones, wasn't she, as well? She was.
Now, I think I have that disease where you can't recognize people's faces.
Right.
Because people keep telling me things like this, and I'm like, oh, I don't. Was she? I think you're lying, but I'll take your word for it.
She was. What was his name? Baratheon. The
Mando.
the one who was supposed to be king after Robert had died. Stannis Baratheon.
Okay, right.
She played his wife in Game of Thrones. She was the one that let her daughter be murdered, be burned at the stake, and then hung herself.
Yeah. See, one of the differences between us is I watch something and enjoy it, right? And then immediately forget everything I've watched. I remember nothing about Game of Thrones apart from it being awesome. It's on my list, right? But I can remember hardly anything. I remember Sean Bean's head on a spike, kid being thrown out the window, Arya Stark being the girl with no name, no face, no name. I like Jon Snow. And I remember the end. And the great scene with Blondie Queen, who they strip naked and march her through the streets. I thought that was a brilliant scene.
Shame.
Absolutely superb.
I thought you were going to say the classic bit when we find out why Hodor's called Hodor.
I remember it now you've said it. That's Hold the Door, right? In case anyone wanted some spoilers.
Yeah. that was one of those jaw-dropping bits at the time for me when it was kind of like, all that time he'd just been Hodor, and then all of a sudden it was kind of like, hold the door, hold the door, hold door, hold door, hold door, hold door. It's like, oh my God.
All right, we get it.
Did they know that when they were writing it at the beginning? Because I can't remember that in the book. I just can't remember it in the books.
Me neither.
And the books, I've got to say that, you know how sort of like when you read books and you kind of like go, books were better than the TV show, books were better than the film, or, this is one of those moments where you kind of like go, do you know what? The TV show was as good as the books, but different, but it was as good. It was just brilliant.
Because the books were even more brutal.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot more rape and stuff like that in the books.
Yeah. And there's a lot more stuff going on as well. There's loads of things happening in the books that you don't get to hear about in the TV.
I must confess, I read the first 3, and then I couldn't be asked when I'd started watching the TV show because I thought, well, I've kind of watched it now. So, what were we talking about before Game of Thrones? Oh yeah, we were doing a also rounds, weren't we? Waking the Dead.
Waking the Dead, yeah.
Awesome series.
Right, so my other also ran, or another British also ran, Prime Suspect.
Helen Mirren,
which is, again, it's just one of those things where you kind of like, you get super immersed into it, don't you? She is superb in that as well.
But helped along by the fact that Linda LaPlante is a proper writer.
Yeah. There's, some serious stories in there, some really good stuff. And also the fact that she's kind of like, at the time it was kind of like, a woman making her way in a man's world sort of thing, wasn't it?
And taking no shit on the way.
And being better at it than them. Yeah. Having bigger balls than all of them.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, great show.
Good call.
I've mentioned Only Fools and Horses as well, but I'm not going to go into that one too much. The other obvious English one I've got, British one, which hasn't made my top 10 purely because I'm very angry about what they've done with it.
Oh, wait. I took it off my list as well for falling over at least 6 times along the way. Doctor Who, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Doctor Who. If I was to move my if I could just move my screen, you would see that I have an entire bookshelf covered in Doctor Who DVDs. I am a massive, massive Doctor Who fan. Huge. I have got a radio controlled Dalek. I have a radio controlled K9. I have a Dalek wall clock. I have a Cyberman radio.
One of these.
Yeah, one of those. I have Doctor Who Monopoly sets. I've just, yeah, massive, massive, massive fan. And I was so disappointed when they decided that they were going to, put a female in the lead role after all of the history, all of the canon that we had there. And then B, put someone in who didn't give a shit or knew nothing about Doctor Who in the first place, and just had no fucking regard for the character whatsoever. And
Chris
she's
Chibnall, right?
Well, eh?
Are you talking about Chris Chibnall?
No, I'm talking about Jodie fucking Whittaker.
Yeah. I was going to say Jodie Foster then.
He is atrocious. Chibnall is atrocious. Well, I mean, the last whatever episodes he did prior to him becoming the showrunner were always the worst episodes of the ones that were, in the more recent series.
I agree.
You don't go through any of them, and they were just really badly written. Really,
because you can look back and go, and you can say Stephen Moffat deserved to take over that show from the episodes that he wrote, because I think they're way, way, way up there, top 5.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Doctor Who, sorry. Family of Blood.
Yeah.
And whatever the second part of that is, he wrote Blink. He wrote one of the Christopher Eccleston ones, didn't he? Are You My Mummy? He wrote that one, I think.
What a great one that was, yeah. The picture of Breeze with we have, for anybody who doesn't know, we have 2 horses. One of them is laminitic, and come the summer she has to wear a grazing muzzle, which is it's like a harness that goes over her head, comes down over her mouth, and it has a opening at the bottom. It's like a solid rubber bottom that covers her mouth completely, apart from an opening which is about the size of a 50p piece, and that's all she has to eat grass through. So as she's grazing, she can only get a very small amount, because it's the only thing that
keeps you're really mean.
Yes, it's the only thing that keeps her alive, because otherwise, if she eats too much, she will die, basically.
Right. Wow.
Because grass contains a lot of sugar, then that affects her laminitis. She also has Cushing's disease, which is a contributing factor to her being very poorly. We have spent many, many months with her on box rest in the stable, where we've had to look after her continually, trying to keep the weight off her, trying to keep her from damaging herself and all this. But this thing, honest, it looks like a fucking gas mask on the end. So every time we wheel her out, when the grass has started growing in the springtime, and she has to go out with this thing on, because it's only like 6 months she has to wear it, really. The spring to the end of the summer. And once that's gone, once the sugars have died down in the grass, then she can go out without it. But for this period of time, yeah. So every time she goes out in the spring, "Are you my mummy?" I shall send you a picture, because it's you'll understand. I mean, it looks horrible, but like I said, it's a very important piece of kit, really.
Who knew?
Yeah. But I loved Doctor Who. I loved I loved the original.
I'll tell you what killed it for me. It maybe I just got too old, but as soon as Tom Baker died, Doctor Who died for me. I thought everyone that came after was utter shite. The Paul McGann movie was bloody awful, even though casting-wise, he would have been excellent, as he's proved since in that little mini movie thing they did.
Yeah, I think he's been really good since. The story was poor for the movie, wasn't it? Again, it was just really badly written for American audiences, not paying attention to the history or anything.
Chris Chibnall may as well have written in it. But I'll tell you what, I don't know, I can't remember when the reboot started, but one evening, sitting at the table with my kids, and we're watching something's on TV. And all I heard was that the original advert was just the TARDIS noise. And there was nothing else, I don't think. It just the TARDIS noise, and it went coming soon.
Wow.
Holy fuck! Shut up! Like just, and it's like there's no sort of internet as it is now to find stuff out.
Yeah,
not at that level. I was so excited, and I made them every Saturday watch it with me, and they stuck with me for quite a long time, till the end of Matt Smith.
Right, yeah.
And then they kind of wandered off on their own. But yeah, so it died after Tom Baker, and then it died after. I really tried with Peter Capaldi, and it was okay.
But this is when the story started becoming weaker because
they just couldn't write him.
And he was an excellent Doctor. That one where he's chipping away at the glass wall, the diamond wall thing. And you just think, oh my God, it's just
is that the monologue episode?
Yeah,
with just him in it.
Just him in it, yeah.
Superb.
It was so good. There was but so many of the stories were just so lame. And again, this is when they sort of like started introducing we've got to we've got to diversify, we've got to become inclusive, so we need to introduce a lesbian as his companion, and this why. The whole thing, I've always said this, and I'll remain saying this, is the whole thing about Doctor Who was that he was asexual. He might have had a past where he was a father and this, that, and the other, which they've alluded to, but there was never any sexual chemistry really between him and anybody, was there? It was all, there was none of that involved in any of it.
He's an alien.
Yeah, no love interest, no sex, no nothing. We didn't want that. That's what
Sarah Jane, yeah, my companion. I'll just dump you here.
Yeah. Oh, I've been captured. Oh.
No, you're right. I mean, I didn't mind Jodie as the Doctor. I could roll with that, but I don't think she's a very good actress.
No.
And B, Chibnall can't write for shit.
No, he's truly awful.
C, D, E, and F. They chose the worst companions ever. Should we get Bradley Walsh in and then John Bishop? No.
Okay, this just goes to show that, in my opinion, you're not confident in the posting of the person as Doctor Who to carry the show on their own, like you could be with Chris Eccleston or David Tennant. All of a sudden you've got to have a gang. He could any one of those previous actors could have carried that off on their own. Didn't matter. They could have a companion, no problem having a companion. But this is the first time when you actually physically had to give her a gang to try and make sure that
the worst thing about Jodie's run is this. Oh, who's that? Oh, I'll point to Sonic. Oh, Turn the light on. Oh, use the Sonic. Oh, what day is it? Oh, Sonic says it's Monday. I wish I just want to stamp on that fucking thing. It's awful. Just so poor. But however, they did throw a couple of. There was a couple of. Did you watch any of it?
I watched 3/4 of the first season, and then in the end, I just couldn't watch anymore.
Did you get to the alternative Doctor from the alternative timeline?
No.
Right, now she was superb, and when Chibnall finished, if they had said she is going to be the new Doctor, I'd have been well happy with that. I can't remember her name, but she was excellent, and she could have pulled it off all by herself for months on end. And the other thing I quite liked was the Cybermen Time Lords, whatever they were called. That was quite an intriguing idea, but mostly it was 9.8 out of 10 pile of shit, really.
Yeah.
Very disappointed. I turned up every week. I watched it every week, and every week I was just disappointed.
I just couldn't take it anyway. I think the first half of the first season was just so fucking preachy with what's the face on the back of the bus and it was just shit. It was really badly written. She was really poor. The gang was really poor. The people, I had no interest in them. There was no kind of there was nothing to relate to with any of the people that she had with her.
Do you know what? There was a certain point at which I had to sit down and say to myself, this isn't being made for me. This is not. And why would it be? Why would it be made for 50-year-old men who remember how it used to be? I kind of get it. But also, there was nothing wrong with the format.
No.
Why did you go and, I mean, Russell T Davies did just fine. Moffat did fine.
Yeah.
You could redefine it for a whole new generation without throwing it in the trash.
Yeah.
There's nothing about lesbian or sexual. It's just poorly bloody written.
Yeah.
It was like Blue Peter, Doctor Who. Anyway,
yeah.
Sorry, everyone, but nah.
Yeah.
However, I have high hopes going forwards.
Well, at least with the David Tennant stuff, again.
No, I have high hopes beyond that. I think Russell loves the show enough to not break it.
I think I was hoping, in all honesty, I was hoping that what they would start off with the new Doctor Who, not the David Tennant stuff, because that'll be a kind of like an aside thing, really. But when the new Doctor sort of like turns up, that it's like a Patrick Duffy in the shower scene in Dallas, where it was kind of like, and it was all a dream sort of thing. That last,
I tell you what,
Chris Chibnall, Jodie Whittaker thing was just a bad dream.
I tell you what, I wish I had put on my list. What can I replace? No, I won't replace anything on my list, but Torchwood fucking rocked. I thought those first two, is it 2 seasons or 3?
2 seasons and 2
and then Children of Earth, and then what's the last thing called? The flash mob thing. Children of Earth, and it's called Day something, isn't it?
Yeah,
the
something day
Torchwood ended. Anyway, whatever that
Independence Day.
That American one was a bit ropey, but Children of Earth, I think, is the best British or American, and I think it's the best sci-fi show I've ever seen.
It was superb.
5 episodes, tightly written, just brilliant.
Is that the one?
We are coming. We are coming.
Yeah, that's not the. No, it's the other one where he keeps getting killed, isn't it? And
no, that is that one.
Is it that one?
And they put him in a storage locker and fill it with concrete and tip it off the end of the cliff. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Children of Earth.
And I mean, he was superb, wasn't he, Captain Jack? He was superb in the Chris Eccleston ones when he turned up.
Yeah,
You know, he was just a great character, really good.
but the great thing about that was you went from oh ha ha ha, Jack Harkness is buried in concrete in a thing, blah blah, and then do something else funny, and then it'd be a bit gay for a while, and that was okay. But then he had that bit with his daughter where he fucked over his grandson. And there was absolutely no, just totally devoid of emotion.
Yeah.
I'm sacrificing you to save the planet kind of thing. It was like, okay, this is edgy. But yeah, brilliant Torchwood.
Yeah.
In fact, it even superseded Doctor Who sometimes. It was so good.
They are on the same shelf as the Doctor Who DVDs.
That's going to annoy me now. What's that last Torchwood thing called? It's called...
Is it called Image Day or something like that?
It's called Miracle Day.
Miracle Day, that's it.
And do you know what? I remember enjoying it, but I can't remember a damn thing about it. It was 10 episodes, and it only needed to be 5, but it was 10 because they had to stop every 5 minutes to explain everything to Americans.
Can you imagine what what Disney are going to do with Doctor Who now they've managed to procure some kind of...
Surely one of the great things is money.
It will be superb because they will be able to put the budget to it, keep it the big budget that it's had recently or whatever. But like you said, you can just see it, can't you? Yeah, we've written this great story. There it is. Yeah. They're not going to understand that, so you're going to need to take this bit out and make this guy this, and
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a bigger thing afoot. Russell's always said that Doctor Who should have spin-offs. One of the spin-offs I could really go for would be Madame Vastra and Jenny.
Yeah,
that would have been brilliant. Just brilliant.
I think they're looking at going down the Marvel Universe route, aren't they?
Yeah. And what's the old the Penny and Sparrow episode? Blink. Yeah, it's Blink, isn't it? Yeah.
Blink.
She was great. That would have been good.
Don't blink. And you've also got the opportunity to use the Doctor's daughter, haven't you? Where she became a clone out of his DNA from that thing where they were on that other planet with the weird fish creature things.
Just so much stuff they could really do with it, and generate cash. Sadly, Doctor Who's best when they take all the money away. Those are my favourite episodes, when
invest in the story.
They're earthbound. There's about 5 people in it, and it's actually written properly, which is like most of the Tom Baker era. I don't know. I'm old now, it's not for me.
I've got this chum at work, right? And he's about 20 years younger than me, but he's a massive, massive Doctor Who fan, massive Marvel fan, all the same stuff that we're into, apart from the music, but all the movie, TV stuff. He absolutely loves it. And we were talking about Doctor Who, and he grew up on early Doctor Who and stuff as well. And we got to the Sylvester McCoy years. We were talking about the Candyman. Do you remember the Candyman?
The Bertie Bassett thing.
Bertie
Bassett, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And you kind of like think, wow, we're starting to scrape the barrel now, guys.
I mean, what meeting? I can't remember which Doctor it is. Each Doctor, like, this one's got a scarf, this one's got a recorder, that's cool, this one's got a floppy hat. Let's give him a jacket with some question marks on it Like, who's that? Is that Colin Baker?
Yeah.
Coy. Just
Well,
really.
Peter Davidson, they gave him a piece of celery, didn't they? Do you remember? He had a piece of celery stuck to his.
I watched very, very few of them. Yeah, even then the companions were so excruciatingly shite.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So yeah, let's just spend the whole time talking about Doctor Who.
Dear God, it switched off, and all I was left with on my screen was a picture of horse.
Ah, dear. Poor Doctor Who. The best of times and the worst.
Yeah, I was kind of like,
we should have put it on the list, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Really. But it messed it up for itself.
Well, like I say, I'm just really disappointed at what they've done with it, and and hopefully, like you said, Russell Davies will drag it back into something good.
Fantastic. They buried some of the best stuff, like nobody saw Harold Saxon coming as the Master. Genius, just brilliant.
Yeah, but
I wish they hadn't brought K9 back. That was just silly.
Oh, when did he turn up? Oh, well, I think that was kind of like
He turned up in the Christopher Eccleston bit, didn't he?
Yeah, it was the one where.
Is it called School Reunion? Where Rose?
Yes. School, yeah, the school with the headmaster, and they were all like the bat creatures.
Yeah. He fires a laser at one of the gargoyle things, and not good.
Yeah, that but wasn't. I think that was a vehicle to get the Sarah Jane Adventures back on screen, wasn't it? I think.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
So I think it was a kind of like a tie-in kind of thing to to make all that work and stuff. Yeah. So,
but some of them like the Dalek, the episode just called Dalek with Eccleston is just genius. The Return of Davros was like you didn't think he could get any more frightening than he was originally, and they did it.
Yeah,
just brilliant. Even the flying Daleks they pulled off quite well, reasonably well.
Yeah, super. It was kind of like that sort of like thing where they kind of. But then again, saying that, Sylvester McCoy, they first came up the stairs in one of the Sylvester McCoy episodes, so we should have seen that coming, really, But it was still exciting when it happened, Kind of, we're going to get it to the stairs, And
the best casting ever, bloody Billie Piper.
She was fantastic, wasn't she?
I cried my eyes out when David Tennant left her on the beach. I'm sitting there on the sofa. Dad, are you crying? No. No. Just don't show me the end of life on Mars straight after this.
Get me my noose.
Just brilliant. Oh, but the best Doctor ever was John Hurt. I could have watched that for decades.
Oh, the War
Doctor.
Yeah.
Just superb. They should have done a late night War Doctor adult thing. Just brilliant.
Yeah, that was, I mean, proper kind of grizzled veteran kind of, he was really good, wasn't he? He was really. But I liked him. I like the one with the TARDIS as well. Do you when they landed on the planet full of junk that was where they've been called by other Time Lords? And
that's the Neil Gaiman episode, right?
The TARDIS was
Doctor's wife. No,
Duran Jones.
Yeah, that's the Neil Gaiman episode.
That was fantastic. I loved that, and they'd been putting the characters together, piecing them. As they were falling apart, they were piecing them together. It was kind of like Brain of Morbius sort of thing, where all these different parts to the creatures that had been landing there looking for the Time Lords, and they sort of like having to rebuild themselves bit by bit, So you didn't realize straight off the cuff that it was,
And that's how you write a fan
Yeah.
love video, a TV show. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
What else is in your also ran list?
So we've got, well, like I say, there's hope now, isn't there? There's hope.
Yeah.
And also ran Blacklist.
Okay. Good show.
James Spader.
Good show. Just when you thought James Spader was dead and buried.
I think he's brilliant in it, but the girl that plays the other lead character is just after the first two series, she just gets right on my nuts. She's she's just so annoying.
There's a spin-off show, isn't there?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm sure there's a. I'm sure there is. I've never seen it. Let me ask Jeeves.
You're not thinking of Criminal Minds.
No. It's called The Blacklist Redemption. Famke Janssen.
No, she's in the main show, isn't she, as well?
Yeah. So just one season. So that might be worth looking at.
The story is superb, isn't it? Really, the main premise of it is really good.
Yeah.
And I think I'm season 5 now. I've finished season 5 now. I think I don't know where we're up to with it anymore, but it was starting to become a bit tedious with this girl, and the whole kind of is he her dad? Is he what? I don't know. Just
9 seasons.
Really?
Yeah, with a 10th confirmed.
But James Spader is well worth the money in it. He's just fantastic. He's just so cool.
He looks funny, older and bald, doesn't he?
Yeah.
After seeing him in so many movies, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah. So Blacklist, and then, like I said, we've just mentioned Criminal Minds, which is also really, really fucking good. That's on about 12 seasons, I think, as well, isn't it? Yeah. And a spin-off or 2 spin-offs, I think.
And most of them are. They kind of tend to run out of steam every now and again, don't they? And then pull it back. Somebody goes, "Hey, you've run out of steam," and they manage to pull it back somehow.
Yeah,
which is something the Americans do better than us.
I think so. Yeah, I think the fact that they've sort of like chose some pretty good cast members as well. But the last season that we've just been watching, or we're watching now on Disney, I don't know if you've watched any of it yet.
I watched the first one.
Yeah, so
looks a bit clunky to me.
It's what's her name? The lead actress in it. She now she's let her hair go grey. She looks amazing with grey hair. I think.
I can't remember her name.
No, Paget Brewster. She had that sort of like very black hair, very hard cut fringe and everything. She's just kind of like let herself go grey, and I think she looks brilliant. Looks really, really good. But she's a great character as well. Fantastic. And there's two spin-offs, wasn't there? There was one which was led by the girl who's the tech expert.
All right, I never watched that. Yeah.
And then there's an international one as well, which has got oh Christ, what's his name? Can't remember his name anyway. He's the lead character, but there's an international one as well. But this one here, they've probably done the best version that they could have done of going woke in this season, where you remember I'm no good at fucking names and characters and that. But you know the girl who joined as she was the doctor, and her husband got. I think they just got divorced or something like that.
Right.
And that. And she's also the girl that she's a comedian, and she took over from Drew Carey in whose line is it anyway? The American one.
Yep.
And anyway, now she's divorced, etc., etc., and now she's got a girlfriend. And it was kind of like, oh, really? They're going to go down this route? And then all of a sudden, it was kind of like, yeah, but we're not really going to mention it ever again now. It is what it is. And it was kind of like, well, if you're going to go woke, that's the way to do it, I suppose. It's it's not important. But
if it doesn't relate to the story, back off.
So, yeah, so I'm enjoying it. It's good. We've been watching it, but the only annoying thing is that it comes out once a week, and then they stopped it over Christmas. So
yeah, I hate it when they do that.
I like to binge. I like to say if we're getting something on, let's
get it on.
Let's stick it on and watch the whole lot in one go. Yeah.
This is going to be a 3 or 4 parter, isn't it? And that's okay.
I think so. Do you want me to carry on?
Yeah, you can do. I mean, I had some things that I took out. I put them in my list originally, and then I went, "Nah, that's ridiculous." It wasn't my top 10 of all time, really. One of them was Children of the Stones.
Oh wow, that's like a 70s. Is that a 70s thing?
It is, and there's about 75 about this little kid. He's about 10, 11. He just sort of like first year of secondary school, and they moved to this little village, and the standing stones are weird, and people keep disappearing. You remember it?
I do remember it, yeah. And I also remember because Doctor Who kind of covered the same thing.
It ripped off that whole thing, yeah. The pagan scare fest,
right? And funnily enough, when we went down to, because for anybody who doesn't know, my dad lives in Hampshire. When we went down to see him, I think the first time I took Kate down there, we went to Aylesbury,
right?
Which is sort of like a standing stone circle, but it's kind of like what all of those places were based on, and it's much more. I think it's much more atmospheric than the tourist trappings of Stonehenge.
Very much,
yeah. As great as it is, but there's so many of those those sort of like villages around there that have got these things. That there is something really kind of like scary and supernatural about it all.
Let's have a look. The series has been called an undisputed landmark in children's television. It combines scientific fact with pagan mythology and rural folklore, which pretty much sums it up, really.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. 1977.
If anybody's interested, you can catch the full series for free on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a watch.
1977. Yeah. That's wow, yeah. I might go back and have a look at that myself now.
It's not very long. I think the episode's about half hour each, and there's only 6 of them.
25 minutes. 25 minutes an episode. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah,
so you could do the lot in 3 hours.
I'm gonna dive back into that myself, yeah.
Absolutely loved it beyond beyond.
Oh,
I like pagan shit.
Children of the Stones and the Avebury Stones. There you go. There's a kind of like a guy talking about where they filmed it, and it was Avebury, which is the other one of the two that we went to. So it's Aylesbury and Avebury, where the Stones were. That's really cool. Okay.
There's also, which also might be on YouTube, the Owl Service. Do you remember this? It's a novel by Alan Garner.
I remember the title, but I don't remember the.
Again, eight or so half-hour episodes. It's very Welsh, and it's very similar to Children of the Stones, except it's about this dinner service that's decorated with owls that's in the loft of a house. And every now and again you hear the owls playing in the loft or rustling about. I won't say any more than that. That'll do you. It's just, Britain does those weird shows, like those literary sort of kids novels we used to read when you were kids.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. It's like, this doesn't make any sense at all. And it was even worse because it was kind of, I tell you what it is, it's really Welsh. and stuff doesn't always make sense in Welsh, the sort of the culture of the countryside, if you like.
Yeah.
The way people are about haunted fields or front doors and things.
Yeah.
But fantastic. Yeah, that was also on my list. And there's one show that I cannot find on Google. I know I haven't made it up. And it's about this family, like a middle class family, and they move into a house, a detached house, big kind of semi mansion thing in the country, and there's a secret room. One of the kids works out there's a secret room because there are 5 windows from the outside of the house, but there's only 4 inside.
Right.
It might be called The Secret Room. I don't know. I've never found it. It was on ITV. Was it called The Secret Room? I never thought to look for that. But around about the same time, I love all those sort of ghosty kid shows because they treated you like an adult. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't explain standing stones. They didn't explain why there might be owls off a dinner service playing in the loft. It just was, and the Americans can't do that. Whereas they just leave us to it, and you brought up on it, and you get it.
Yeah.
I will find out what that's called, but there's the Owl Service should be on YouTube as well, probably.
And then people think you're weird when you've grown up and you kind of like go, do you remember this? Do you remember? That reminds me of. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's just the Wicker Man for kids.
Yeah,
there was loads of that pagan stuff when we were young, wasn't there? America had Satanic Panic.
Yeah,
and we had pagan shit. Because there's that episode of there's the Doctor Who and the Demon with John Pertwee is a pagan thing, but there's also the Tom Baker one that got banned for a little while with the Standing Stones, which is the one you're referring to.
Yeah,
I think that got taken off air a few times.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. Like you said, there was at that time there was that whole kind of like thing going on about very pro Christianity and stuff, wasn't there?
Yeah. And then you had Ken Barlow wandering around as a druid. Didn't you? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
No, that was big news. And then everyone was a witch, or being a witch was cool, and all that Wicca Crowley stuff. And over
Yeah.
in America, you had the devil, but it didn't translate in the same sort of scary way, really, till The Exorcist. I don't think.
No, I mean there was some. I mean there was a few good things, wasn't there? Was the one was called? Was it called Race with the Devil, which was where they were in a camper van and they kind of like parked up in the middle of nowhere one night and then kind of like woke up when they heard this noise and went out and saw all these witches doing.
That rings a bell, yeah.
And then and then them kind of like getting the hell out of Dodge and being chased by all the witches and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, interestingly, that's British.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh no, it's not.
Was it like Henry Fonda or somebody was in it? I'm sure.
Right, it's Peter Fonda.
Peter Fonda.
Yeah, it's an American horror film. I think it's made by Brits. Yeah, Satanic Ritual, Human Sacrifice. I haven't seen that for years.
No.
Oh, anyway.
But those were kind of the best ones, weren't they? Those sort of like, Rosemary's Baby and all those sort of ones, where they were.
No, you're right. Yeah. But I'll tell you the difference. The difference is when we did it, it was always outside. It was about the land. Whereas in America, it's always about the witches or the horror of it. Whereas here, it's about the landscape. And that's really hard to explain, but it's just different. Because it's even fucking weirder.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I suppose that even the tenuous link of Rawhead Rex was based on the land, wasn't it? It was it being buried underneath the markings. So that would work. That would be a really good one to redo if they were going to redo one.
I think they should. But that'd be a worthy remake.
But I love the original though. It's it's just him pissing on the priest and stuff. It was
And there's that tiny little bit that's in some versions and not in others, where you see the actor, you see his eyes through the gap in the neck. Yeah, we need to cut that bit out. Yeah, I'll do it later.
Yeah, don't forget to remind me. Just stick on a post-it note there with all the other ones.
Oh, it's come unstuck. So yeah, we're having more luck with our also rans here.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll oh man, what am I going to do here now? So
Are you going for a real one?
Oh, shall I go for a real one?
You can do.
Oh, I go for a real one.
I reckon that's probably the last one we've got.
I'll go for a real one then.
Alrighty.
Which is, funnily enough, or not funnily enough, depending on what your view of sci-fi is Battlestar Galactica, of which I was never a fan, even though I went to see it at the Pictures originally with the Face Man and the Cylons, all that stuff. Never really a massive fan because it was just like a Star Wars rip-off, cheap Star Wars rip-off, kind of like a cross between Star Wars and Buck Rogers. Didn't really do anything for me. But when they rebooted it, man, I was hooked. It was so good. It was like really, really good.
I've never seen it.
And oh man, it's like the whole of the human race is in about 30 spaceships. The planet's destroyed. They're just trying to move on now, find somewhere else to live. But the problem is that I can't remember what the timing is, but they've got something like whenever they come out of light speed, they've got about 19 minutes before the Cylons lock onto them and they have to shoot off again and disappear into space again to try and find somewhere to actually live. and it's just it's like that 24 thing, where it just keeps moving forward and moving forward, and you kind of like go, and we're trying to do this, and we're trying to tell this story, and 19 minutes, oh fucking hell, woof, gotta go, they found us, woof, we got.
Is each episode only 19 minutes long?
No.
That'd be great.
I can't remember. It's about, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour long per episode. But I think there's about 6 seasons of it, something like that.
You've got a box set, haven't you?
Eh?
You've got a box set, haven't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Just the one?
Yes, sir. I have them all on.
Tell you what, I'm not a big sci-fi fan, as you know, but it was on Netflix, Lost in Space. I thought was bloody brilliant.
Not watched it.
Oh, brilliant. It's really, really, really good. Proper storytelling.
I shall check that out. I was put off really by the sort of like the reboot movie they did about 20 years ago.
No. It's absolutely superb. Well, with Joey from Friends in it, that one.
Yeah. And the kind of like the pervy doctor, sort of like,
This is absolutely brilliant. And the robot's fantastic.
The robot going, danger, Will Robinson, danger, move away from the doctor.
I'll give you that one.
I shall check that out.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. Yeah. I think they finished it. I think it's 3 seasons, and then they.
Yeah.
Or did they? Is there another season to go? Can't remember, but it's very, very good.
I shall check that out. You check out the first season of Battlestar Galactica, see if you can get through it, because, like I said, it's really intelligent, really good.
You also have to watch Children of the Stones, but you could do that tonight.
Children of the Stones.
I hope it stands up. I might watch it again as well, just for a laugh. I'll see if I can find the Owl service as well.
I quite like watching that old stuff, though. It's sort of like.
But they were given a brief. Where they got 25 minutes to entertain like 10-year-olds. Go.
Yeah.
Like, Grange Hill was not sloppy. Grange Hill was written to within an inch of its life.
Oh, do you know what? As well, though, is I noticed because they've been doing the yearly review thing about once every half an hour on the BBC for the last fucking 2 weeks. That Mrs. McCluskey died.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Because she played. She was Inspector Frost's love interest in one of the Frost episodes.
Oh, okay.
And then occasionally, like, because Eleanor's quite a bit younger than me, like you'll see someone and you go, wow, Mr. Baxter. And she goes, who? Gripper Stebson. Yeah, never mind. Move along.
Gripper Stebson. Jesus Christ. Well, am I saying that? We all probably said the same thing when Tucker Jenkins joined EastEnders.
Yeah.
Tucker Jenkins.
Tucker bloody Jenkins.
Yeah,
he even had that spin-off, didn't he? Tucker's Luck.
Tucker's Luck.
Don't remember anything about that at all. Maybe that's just as well. I don't know how much time we got left with this one, but I've got no trivia about this, but I'm going to throw it in anyway because I think it's a good idea, and that is the $6 Million Man.
Yes.
Which I enjoyed the shit out of when I was growing up. I was obsessed. Must be on my list. Somewhere.
It's not on my list, but I can't remember if we've had the conversation about the diaries.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
And when I was a kid, my mother decided it was a good idea for me and my sister to keep a diary. So we started off young with a Disney diary, and it was only about 6 or 7 lines per day that you. And you were probably exactly the same as me, which was when you got down to it, you go, look, April the 5th, watched $6 Million Man, watched Dukes of Hazzard, watched The Incredible Hulk. That's it.
That was about it, right?
Yeah. I wish I still had that. I wish my mum had still kept that. Of all the cool things that she's kept, especially the things that she gave me for Christmas,
which we'll come to in another episode.
Yeah, indeed. And I wish she'd kept hold of that diary, because it was TV magic.
I was trying to find some facts about the $6 Million Man there, but
I didn't have many toys. I didn't, we were probably the same as yourself. Money was really tight when you were growing up. We didn't have much, but I do remember having a $6 Million Man with the eagle, the eagle eye, and the bit where you could peel back his skin on his wrist and see the electronics underneath. And
I can't remember. Is this right? Yeah, I think he had a button in his back that you'd press for the arm to go like that.
Yeah,
because it come with like a girder or something that he could lock into his arm and lift
and there was,
up.
I think there was like was it like a rocket? Was it a rocket ship, or it was a?
Oh, the rocket ship that opened up into the lab.
Yeah, the lab. That's it. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that was and his red tracksuit. Yeah, red tracksuit again.
Yeah. With little trainers that would come off. We didn't play with dolls.
No.
I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before. Martin Caidin wrote a novel, Cyborg, in 1971 that was the source material.
Okay.
When the show was broadcast in Israel, it was called The Man Who Is Worth Millions. This is because in Israel, the number 6 million is associated with the Holocaust. Fair.
Oh, okay.
Lee Majors did 90% of his own stunts. Although, to be fair, they're hardly like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, were they?
No.
Steve, jump from that log into the river.
Is that... Open and close that door.
Near the end of the series, Lee Majors experimented with changing Steve Austin's look by growing a moustache. This proved to be unpopular and the idea was dropped. But not before a lunchbox had been produced with the new look.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow.
That must be probably quite rare.
Yeah. But that's worth a few quid, yeah. The $6 million moustache. But did he do his own stunts in what was the other thing that he was in? The Unknown Stuntman thing.
The
what
Fall
was that?
Guy. I don't know.
I wonder if that's how he got the job as the Fall Guy, or if that's just sort of like a convenient sort of like mental tie-in.
It says here, in spring 77, before production began on the show's final season, Lee Majors refused to go to work until his contract demands were met. At one point, it was reported producers considered hiring a new actor in the shape of Harrison Ford, but the producers later thought he was unsuitable as an action hero.
Wow.
It just goes to show that sometimes they're right and sometimes they're really not.
It wasn't brown M&Ms, was it? The contract was.
I didn't know this
story.
Sandra Bullock played Kate Mason. She was Steve Austin and Jamie Summers' protege, the Bionic Girl.
Huh?
Don't remember that.
No. I think with a lot of that stuff though is that you kind of like you watched it whenever you were in.
Yeah.
And there was no kind of you know, you didn't have to follow it, did you? It wasn't a sort of like a thing where you kind of like running for it every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock or whatever. It was kind of like, you know, it was on quite often, and if you'd finished playing, you know,
monkey
soldiers outside with your mates or whatever, then, you know, you came in and had your tea. It was sort of like, you know, oh, we'll put the $6 million man on, we'll have me tea, you know.
Brilliant show.
There's probably loads there that we haven't, loads of episodes there that you don't even know about.
They got a bit silly with the Sasquatch, though.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was. You can get an action figure. Look it up. You can buy them on eBay.
I've seen it.
What the hell? Really? That's the best thing you're taking away from $6 Million Man. Because when it first started, it was quite violent. And then the kids gravitated to it and they took the tone of it down a bit. It used to kill people loads.
Wasn't it funny, though, that you could, you know, originally, you could never remember which bits of him were bionic. So you kind of like going, oh, one bionic leg, one bionic arm. And I remember Stu saying to me, don't be so fucking stupid. If he had one bionic leg, he'd just be running in circles all the time.
He's really good at hopping. Yeah, in every episode, Oscar Goldman's way of showing shock or surprise was to quickly remove his glasses and stare in disbelief.
Who was Oscar? Oscar wasn't
Richard Anderson. This is his boss, right?
Yeah. No, it's not. I was just trying to remember. He's who was Rambo's?
Not Richard Crenna. Richard Crenna?
Yeah, Richard Crenna. Yeah. For Oscar, who the fuck was Oscar? He had them big glasses, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
The tinted glasses.
He was like the Charlie in Charlie's Angels, I guess.
Yeah.
Except you knew who he was.
He wasn't on the end of a phone. Yeah.
Bosley.
It's funny though, isn't it? How sort of like so many of these things are kind of like rehashed ideas, just sort of like with slightly different twists to them, isn't it? You know,
I think they're all the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels is just the same plots, and they're probably still doing it now with the Blacklist and Criminal Minds. Just
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it yesterday when I was watching The Walking Dead, and I'm now finally on season 11. So I'm on the last season, and I know it's finished, and I know everybody's seen it. You know who's going to see it probably, and I don't know what the end is, but I just keep thinking now. Every time you come across somebody that's doing something different, they're all nutters, and yet they still have followers, and you kind of like, you know, you can't persuade them to sort of like change their mind to become not nuts, so you have to kill them all or join them and then pretend that you've joined them to get out of joining them. And it's kind of like, how many times are we running this same story over 11 seasons, dudes? You know?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. That was a contender for me, actually. The Walking Dead, and then I was like, no, they blew it too many times.
It's on my it's on my list.
Well, we must talk about that shortly.
Yeah.
But right, I took it off for the same reason I took Doctor Who off, which was like absolutely unlost. Yeah. Loved it, but you just fluffed it too many times. I was just looking at my list here. I've still got 7 left.
Sorry. You've still got like 1 million things on it.
Well, I only had top 10. I've still got 7 left.
Yeah.
It's going to
Oh
be
dear.
a long show.
You've got 7 left. How come I've got 36 left?
Because you threw the top 10 rule book in the bin.
Yes.
You must have crossed out some of the ones we touched on. No?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. And then I kind of like can't remember because we kind of like we dallied around some of them, didn't we?
Yeah, some I don't think I haven't got a lot to say about some of these apart from whatever comes up in our discussion, I guess. I mean,
Well, that's cool.
see, I've got here. I'm going to take Game of Thrones off because we sort of did that ish.
Oh,
Or
dude,
did we?
can you take Game of Thrones off?
No, but didn't we already talk about it?
Well, I mean, it was mentioned slightly, but is it not like the best piece of TV kind of fantasy thing ever?
Yeah. But we talked about Hold the Door and
We did.
Sparrows and don't know.
Okay, so we just okay, so
Maybe we come back to that.
we'll just put a mark by that and just kind of like agree that that's just like one of the best pieces of TV ever. Then,
If not the best
the
TV
best.
show of all time, isn't it?
Yeah,
Possibly.
it
Again,
is.
apart from the last episode.
Yeah, it is just phenomenal, and there is not a bad casting choice in there either, which
Well,
is
hang on a
really
minute. No, let's leave this live. We'll just leave all this in and let's continue to talk about Game of Thrones for a minute. Because one of the gripe, apart from the last episode, which we'll ignore, one of my gripes about the whole thing was that Joffrey never got the death he deserved.
right.
It was really sort of, oh, you're not going to disembowel him or rip his head off with your bare hands. It was just really a bit,
The Purple Wedding, I think it was called,
was
wasn't
it?
it? The Purple Wedding, yeah.
Because I hated him.
He was,
Superb casting and
yeah,
acting
absolutely. And you know what? The only thing that I can remember him being in, apart from that, is
on the buses.
I'll get you, Joffrey. Batman.
Was he in Batman?
He was in. He was in Christopher Nolan's Batman, Dark Knight, or that one.
Yeah.
One of those. One of absolutely brilliant trilogy. Best, probably one of the best movie trilogies ever. I think the Chris Nolan stuff.
I didn't like it.
Did you know?
No. Which is probably why I can't remember him being in it.
Yeah, yeah. He was in it anyway. Bit part, but yeah, he was absolutely stunning, hateful, repulsive, and just absolutely brilliant at it.
Funnily enough, he's not done anything since, has he?
No, because he said once he finished this, he didn't want to actually go into acting. He didn't want to do it, and it was like, well, but you're so fucking good at it.
Wow, what's he doing now then? Got his own butcher's shop.
I have no idea. Maybe his O levels.
Wow,
Not
that's
a clue.
shocker.
But he was super bad, wasn't he? In that,
Yeah.
you know,
Just brilliant. I can't think of anyone I've hated more
no,
as a fictional character,
no.
or even comes close, to be honest.
apart from maybe Jodie Whittaker as Doctor Who. But let's brush over that.
Yeah, that red wedding deserves multiple rewatch for sure.
Yeah,
that's a great episode.
Yeah. So we had the when
Thingy.
Thingy and what's his face.
Yeah. Damn.
were murdered by the phrase in the red wedding, and then the purple wedding was when Joffrey choked on his own whatever it was that he'd been poisoned, hadn't he? So
I can't even remember who poisoned him now.
Well, I don't think it was ever made 100% clear, was it? Because they sort of like said that, I think it was the odd chap that had been humiliated by him several times before, who was helping what's her name, Stark, escape from King's Landing.
Right.
What's her name? I can't remember her fucking name now.
Ginger girl.
Yeah.
Dark Phoenix.
Ginger Stark.
Not to be confused with Baby Stark.
No. And Baby Stark is my favourite character in the whole series.
Really?
Yeah, I absolutely love her to bits. I think she's absolutely brilliant.
She is fantastic. Really. Then there was who's the guy with the hounds? He's also turned into an awesome actor.
Yes.
Didn't he get eaten by his own hounds at the end?
He did, yes. Yeah. He was
equally as foul.
Yeah. Superb. Absolutely brilliant. Have you seen, there is it's probably really fucking cringe of me to say this, but there's like a little 5-minute skit on YouTube somewhere of Coldplay doing a kind of like a Game of Thrones song, like a mini musical thing, and it's got him and why can I never remember any of their names now?
No, I can't either.
The guy who he tortured and that. Well, they have like a reconciliation on this thing, and it's to be fair, it's really, really good. Just even though you want to kill Coldplay,
the eunuch guy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Slim Shady.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah. Now, when I type in eunuch guy, it just gives me Varys.
Oh yes, yeah, he was definitely a eunuch guy.
He definitely was. Have you ever? This is not related, but is sort of. And I'm going to see if I remember. Have you ever seen The Executioner with Ed Sheeran in it?
No.
I think it's called The Executioner. The Bastard Executioner. No.
No.
I think it's written by Kurt Sutter.
Right.
Who did who wrote Sons of Anarchy. And it is set in a very Lord of the Rings world.
All right.
Early 14th century, Welsh commoners unite to take revenge on a ruthless nobility. But it's basically about the guy who wields the axe.
Right.
2015. I don't know where you can find it. There's some There's some great. I'm sure Ed Sheeran's in it, or was he in Game of Thrones as a as a balladeer? Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Game of Thrones. Yeah, for like about 30 seconds or something. Like
I'm pretty sure he's in this as well. Executioner. In...
I kind of think. I think that some of these TV shows, like the Game of Thrones and the Walking Dead, when they got to sort of like the end of their, their tenure kind of thing, I reckon that they auctioned off places in the because what was I was watching the Walking Dead the other day, and Robert Patrick appeared, and he was in it for about 15 minutes as a guy, and then as his brother. And he got killed twice in 15 minutes. And it was kind of like, oh, it's Robert Patrick. Oh, and now he's dead. Oh, look, it's Robert Patrick because his brother.
Do you think at a certain point in time they actors just go, I love this show. I want get me a part.
I want to be in it.
Like who is the antiques guy who's in Game of Thrones for about one episode? Lovejoy, Ian McShane.
Ian McShane, yeah.
He's about one episode, isn't he?
But he's superb. He was superb in that as well, even though it was only a little bit. I mean, he's in John Wick and everything, isn't he? You know,
he's had a kind of like a second life, isn't he?
Yeah, just a brilliant actor.
Because he plays the lead in American Gods as well.
Yes. And what a weird fucking show that was.
Well, we've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. The book shits all over it.
What was the one that I picked up the other day by Neil Gaiman? And I said it was like some kind of like fairy story thing. But I picked it up and I went,
what, a book or a movie?
Book, but I've got so many other stuff, so many other books that I haven't read yet. That
Is it a picture book? No, I meant that in the nicest way. There's one called I think it's called the Princess and the Spindle, which is illustrated.
No, not that. No.
Was it Coraline?
No.
Was it a fairy book? Not Stardust.
No. Oh. What a brilliant movie. Absolutely brilliant movie.
Not as good as the book.
I haven't read the book. God damn it.
Blimey, what else has Gaiman done lately? I can't remember.
We went to Waterstones. See? So Kate was looking for some new shit to read, and I was looking for I don't know what I was fucking looking for, to be honest.
Looking while she's looking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm just bringing up the stuff now and I can't even see. It's not coming up as it's not coming up as anything that I've seen here. No. Oh, that's not good, is it?
Maybe it was something with like introduction by Neil Gaiman in massive letters on the front, because the person who really wrote it, no one had ever heard of. that happens.
No, it was a proper Neil. Come on, you fuckers! What? Just give me a list of his freaking books.
If it's not
a bibliography. What?
You found a book that Gaiman's written that he doesn't know he's written yet. Wow, what a great TV show.
Oh, come on. This is Wikipedia. This is just the worst, dudes. This is the worst way of doing things here. Bibliography. You press the bibliography and it comes up with some really portals. What the fuck? I just wanted a list of his freaking books. Come on.
Now, let me help you. not Norse mythology. Ocean at the End of the Lane, Graveyard Book, Neverwhere.
No.
What else? American Gods, Ocean at the End of the Lane.
It was the Graveyard Book. It's a kid's book.
Yeah.
A young adult book.
It's excellent.
It just, yeah, that's the one.
It's basically the Jungle Book with ghosts in the graveyard. With ghosts. Yeah. Which is how I think he described it.
I kind of, I was sort of like, oh, I want to take this one because it sounds really good, but it kind of like,
you should have taken it.
Oh, I should have done.
Just take it. Back pocket.
No, just oh, do you know what? I'm just gonna wait until it appears in a public toilet somewhere, and then I
I don't know where my copy is, to be honest. It's not here.
I think I might know.
Oh dear. I should start a blog. Oh dear.
A bog blog.
Anyway,
yeah, Game of Thrones,
yeah. Sure. Keeping us on track. Make a note of the Bastard Executioner. Yeah,
I have.
I think it was on Amazon. It's obviously not Game of Thrones. There's no dragons in it or anything, but it's excellent. And Ed Sheeran is in it.
Is he?
Yeah. But it's great. And sorry, Game of Thrones. Yeah, there was every season there was a real standout moment, wasn't there?
And that was I think that was the best thing about it was kind of like, you know, when you first saw the first season and you thought, you know, oh well, look, there's Sean Bean in it and everything, and then it was kind of like, you know, and well, he's Sean fucking Bean. He's going to be in it for the whole series, isn't he? No.
Yeah.
Well, this character that I'm investing in is going to be oh no.
Yeah.
There was no regard for kind of like, you know.
You kind of knew they weren't going to kill off Jon Snow.
Well, I mean, I didn't know that until I knew that.
Yeah. Have you seen all the Oh, I don't even know what it's called anymore. The Jon Snow Beyond the Wall news. Have you not heard any of this?
No, this is something that they're doing a new.
It's a spin-off as what when John walks into the woods. It's what happens next.
Right.
And I believe it's made partly with his own money.
All right.
But good for him. Good for him. Have you watched House of the Dragon?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, we won't go there then.
It's one of the ones that I'm going to have to wait until it comes out on DVD, aren't I? I think because it's on. Is it Apple or
Sky,
HBO or something like that? Yeah,
Sky. Yeah, Game of Thrones, possibly the best TV show ever. Even though a little bit earlier on I said Life on Mars was.
Yeah. So could
Game you could have one and I'll have the other.
Could GOT become GOAT then?
Oh,
greatest of all time.
Do you know what? There's a yeah, it could be. Yeah. I don't know about you, but everyone goes on about The Sopranos, but it's not on my list.
It's not on my list either.
That's because it's not very good. It's not as good as they say. You know when they do top, like they go, Citizen Kane's the best movie of all time. No, it's not.
Yeah.
What the hell is like?
Is this because you've been indoctrinated into thinking that because it's been done by, you know, some magical director and it's got some magical star in it and it's sort of like, you know, super intelligent that you have to say it's the best film you've ever seen.
Yeah, it's not. It's
No.
not as good as The Birds.
It's like, or is it the best record you've ever heard, or the best,
Yeah. No. And that's what we're here for. This is the
No.
point of
Yeah.
our point of our
Yeah,
meanderings.
absolutely.
Should we move along?
Okie dokie.
Now this one really is the greatest TV show of all time. No, wait, there's a nice little segue here.
Oh no, it was toppled so quickly.
No, Spooks.
Spooks.
I fucking love Spooks. Who also set a precedent for, God, this character's brilliant. Oh, they're dead. Long before Game of Thrones did it. Have you've seen Spooks?
I've seen some of Spooks.
Oh,
Kate watched the whole series. I've got the whole series on DVD. Everything on DVD. She absolutely loved it. So she was watching it while it was on the TV.
Yeah, me too.
You know, everything that came through. But I think at the time when it first started, I was actually building that house in Wrexham. So while she was watching it on TV, I was,
headbanging to Nazareth with a ratchet in your hand.
Yeah, that's. So I think she managed the entire, like, I don't know, what is it, 8, 10 series, something like that. And
10.
While I built the house, I was like fucking Petrocelli, bricks on bricks.
Yeah, Spooks, brilliant. If you've never seen it, it's about MI5, who genuinely don't like MI6 at all. There's various rotating cast members, but one of the most, I don't really get shocked at TV, but when they shoved Claire Goose's head in the chip pan deep fat fryer, that was a holy fuck they did moment. And there were a few of those throughout. I just think it was brilliantly cast, brilliantly written, very brilliantly written, because sometimes things would happen on the news and then the next week Spooks would like sort of be about it, and you're like,
right,
how has that happened? Very strange, some of it. I love Spooks is my comfort show. If I ever have work to do and I'm sitting over there with the laptop, I can just put Spooks on. You kind of look up, look down, look up, kind of know what's happening. Don't have to watch it, seen it so many times.
It's like a radio thing, but
yeah,
with pictures.
Yeah. No, there's been some good stuff in there.
So there's two links in there, isn't there? Then so there's the fact that they did. Was it a movie they did that featured Jon Snow?
With Jon Snow.
But also Claire Goose was in Waking the Dead.
Yes, she was.
And she died an uncomfortable death in that as well. So
did she get thrown off a building?
Something like that, yes. And now, wasn't she originally? I'm not going to go back into this, but wasn't she originally in Casualty or Holby or something like one of those things?
I believe she was in Casualty.
So I have no idea if she died a horrible death in that, but there's sort of like a trend there going through the poor Claire Goose.
Let's have a look. She was in Casualty. She was in The Bill. She was in EastEnders, Casualty, Holby City, Waking the Dead. Some shit I've never heard of. A lot of shit I've never heard of. Stuff I've never heard of. The Bill again. Stuff I've never heard of. Death in Paradise, New Tricks. Yeah, so she's in a lot of things. And she's not dead.
No, that's cool. So What? Officially, she's not dead. That's cool because I like this. She's been good in everything I've seen her in.
She has.
Yeah.
So I mean, these TV shows have made some. I know it's cool to be a movie star, but these TV shows have made superstars out of people. I mean, what's her name? Daenerys went on to that Terminator film, which nobody ever went to see ever. So that was a bad mistake.
But she was also in the Star Wars one, the Han Solo film. I can't remember what else she's done, but she is so cool. Like, did I send you that link? I think it was on. Oh,
no, you didn't.
No, I can't even remember his name now. The Irish chat show fella,
Jimmy Cricket, Dave Allen.
Oh yeah, I wish he was still alive. Yeah,
we salute you.
May your God go with you.
Just 1 second.
He was so ahead of his time.
Yeah, so that crosses another one off my list. Lovely jubbly. Off you go.
I think we're just random in now, aren't we?
We are, yeah. Go on, hit me with something random to talk about.
Oh, okay. So I think one of the best of all time is X-Files. And to this is a bit weird, this one for me, because this one, as far as I remember it, it started as I was living with Jeff. And I'd got into while I was living with JJ, the Twin Peaks was on. So I managed to watch that. I think the first whole series, the first series of Twin Peaks at JJ's, and then the X-Files started, and it was like kind of like both of them were like TV that I'd never seen before. You know, it was like really, really odd. But it went on for so long, and there was, you know, and it was one of those things where it was sort of like the first kind of thing where you kind of like watch individual episodes, but there's also an arc across the series, you know.
No, I threw it off my list. It nearly made it, but I kind of lost track of it about season 5 or 6. And when I came back to it, Robert Patrick was in it.
Yeah.
No, not Robert Patrick. Who's the guy from Terminator?
Yeah,
Robert Patrick. Yeah. And I'm like, you can't just replace Spooky Mulder. Which they hadn't really, but they did.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, the writing had gone and everything. It didn't work for me.
Right.
And I've never ever got to the end.
Right.
And does it end? No, I've seen the 2 movies though.
The end of the TV show is just fucking weird. When I think about it now, it's like what's his name? Marlon Brando in as Colonel Kurtz, you know, in the Vietnam War movie. Fucking hell, what's the name of that? It's gone out of my fucking head.
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse
Hamburger Hill. Yeah.
Apocalypse Now. And cigarette smoking man is kind of like turns into Colonel Kurtz at the end of it. It's just like really, and it's properly mad. It is properly mad. But there were so many seasons of it that were so good, you know.
Yeah.
And it was the first place it was the first TV show that I saw.
In colour.
Yeah, yeah. Oh Christ, what's his name? The guy who plays Crowley in Supernatural.
Mark Sheppard.
Mark Sheppard. He was in an episode where he was like a firebug kind of thing, and that was the first place. So when I started watching Supernatural, which we'll get onto later on, no doubt.
Certainly will.
When I started watching, it was kind of like, and he first appeared. It was like, it's it's him of the X-Files.
Yeah, it was a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it was certainly of its time as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the I mean the quality of the filming and everything as well is sort of like, you could see how dramatically it improved over sort of like each season. It was kind of like the first one was like done on a fucking cine camera compared to everything else, No,
that's a good valid entry right there.
But also with the Supernatural link, Mitch Mitch Pileggi, who was their boss in the X-Files.
Oh, Skinner.
Turned out to be their granddad, didn't he, in Supernatural?
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Brilliant. Yeah, I did. I forgot all about that.
My link with names is just so bad. I remember the face. I remember the show.
I've got a good link there that I'll come back to for the X-Files in my next thing. But yeah, no, great show. Gillian Anderson's wonderful.
Yeah.
Duchovny's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Cigarette Smoking Man is a killer character. Eugene Toombs is genius.
Toombs, yeah.
There's so many great things about the X-Files. Maybe I should sit down and watch it from start to finish.
It's I think probably it's one of those things now though that you're kind of like, the probably the first couple of series you'll go, oh really? It's a bit, oh, yeah. You probably have to plow your way through a bit of it, to be honest, because it was one of those things that was, like you said, of its time.
Yeah, they did that. What are they called? The three horsemen, four horsemen, three horsemen? Is that what they're called?
The Four Horsemen.
The
geeks. Yeah.
Have I got mixed up with another show?
The Lone Gunman.
That's it, yeah. That was all. I found that all a bit sort of stocking filler. Nah, come on, just get to the good stuff.
Yeah, but that's kind of like, again, that's another kind of a bit that I think has been pinched for the Supernatural, wasn't it? When they went to find the guy who kind of like lived in the middle of nowhere in a mobile home that was sort of like wrapped in silver foil, and I'm not letting the government get to me kind of thing. In Supernatural, it was so there's obviously nods to that, isn't there?
I think Supernatural just ripped everything they could find, and good on them.
Yeah, Supernatural was one of the ones that was affected by the writers' strikes, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
Like, was it like season 4 or season 5 or something, like where it was like only 12 episodes or something compared to the usual 22 or whatever.
I can't remember, but it definitely had a bit of a wobble.
Yeah,
in the storytelling as well, didn't it?
Yeah, there was a few shows that were.
Yeah, Heroes got nobbled, didn't it?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure House did as well.
And Lost, perhaps.
Yeah, Lost. Yeah, yeah. I think there was sort of like this. Was like a 12-month period, wasn't there, where sort of like there was a writer's strike and
Really
everybody.
annoying.
Yeah. Are you thinking, is it not good enough that you're working on these fucking shows? You should be doing it for free. It's so cool.
I don't know. The Supernatural is it the greatest show of all time?
It, it's one of them. It's up there, isn't it?
Do you know what's weird is I've only ever watched Game of Thrones once when it was on. I've never gone back and watched anything again.
Yeah.
And I probably should. But I've watched all 15 seasons of Supernatural at least 3 times.
Yeah.
It's so easy. It doesn't require my absolute attention to how awesome it is. It's like awesome by default.
But there is some there is some dullness to it, isn't there, though, to be fair? You know, especially once you watched it a couple of times, the kind of like the sibling angst and stuff, some of it, you know, starts to get on your pip a bit, doesn't it? It does wear a bit after a while, like, you know, it's almost like you're expecting fucking, you know, Sam Winchester to come out with a book called Spare, saying, you know, and then he
bitch about how Dean once hit him and pulled on his necklace.
Yeah.
How that bitch Meg that he was hanging out with was really getting on his tin.
Turns
out she was a demon.
Abrasive. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Megan. Meg. Megan.
Yeah.
Megan. Yeah.
Bit of topical content there for you kids.
Yeah. let's do it 7 times. Megan. Crossroads demon. However, we have many things to be thankful to Supernatural for. One is their dad, who went on to be Negan.
Yeah.
And I had watched at least 9 episodes of Walking Dead and loved Negan before I went, hey, that's Sam and Dean's dad. They should have had the Colt.
We'll get to the Walking Dead afterwards, I've no doubt.
Have we not done it already?
I don't think so. No, I haven't put many ticks and crosses by it. So I think it's one of those things that we've kind of touched on, but not.
Now, Supernatural's got its low points, but its high points are just. I tell you what it's like. Like in Supernatural is like being a Kiss fan.
Yeah,
you can forgive a couple of dodgy songs here and there because the high points are so massively brilliant and just fun.
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the characters are just superb, aren't they? My favorite character is Crowley. You know, I think he was just brilliant. You know, but Lucifer was brilliant as well.
Yep. Castiel is a stroke of genius.
Yeah, and then you've got the bit part characters which were really good, like Alistair. Do you remember him? And he ended up being 2 different people.
No, I don't remember that.
No, he was just so good. And he kind of talked like that, like some kind of 1940s gangster. He was just fucking brilliant. And but the bit that started getting on my nerves, I really liked the Men and Letters thing. You know, when they kind of brought.
Yeah. Well, the show kind of changed into something else then, didn't it?
Yeah,
We stopped sleeping in motels, and we had a base, and
yeah,
it became about something else entirely.
yeah, but also the kind of like they started introducing this sort of like English contingent, and then it was kind of like, oh, what? No, this is not working. Oh, now your mum come back.
Where's
Oh,
the Wendigo?
and now she's the boss. No, and no, this is not no. So there was big patches of it there that kind of like ruined it for me, you know. But also there's another link there to The Walking Dead as well, isn't there? With the English girl who was the thief.
Oh, is she in The Walking Dead?
Yes, Maggie in The Walking Dead.
Okay.
I can't remember what her name is in Supernatural, but
I'm shit at this kind of thing. They should have put Sam and Dean straight in The Walking Dead. Somehow.
Well, there was rumor at one point, wasn't there? There was rumor at one point of a Supernatural Doctor Who crossover.
That would have been something else, right?
Really, yeah. I'm thinking, if you're going to do that, why not do what you did with the episode where they went Scooby Doo and do a Scooby Doo Supernatural Doctor Who? So it would be like a Scooby Natural Who episode.
That was just fantastic.
It was, yeah. And that was kind of like the best thing about Supernatural, wasn't it? It was that sort of sense of humour.
You never knew what you were going to get.
Dean Winchester, what's his Jensen Ackles, just absolute superb comedy actor as well. You know, just that bit. I mean, do you remember with that bit where he come out of the car singing "Eye of the Tiger" and stuff like that? It's just sheer genius that was. And
that's the only outtake on the thing, is on the set, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's actual footage now of kids copying that on YouTube. You know, kind of like, you know, where dads have filmed their kids doing the Dean Winchester thing, coming out of the car singing "Eye of the Tiger" and stuff. It's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And of course, the my favourite episode, I think, is the mystery spot, where he keeps dying every day. It's kind of like
Tuesday.
Day. Yeah, he wakes up to Asia. Heat of the moment is like, you know, every day it was like, just like, you know, the Broward County mystery spot. Yeah,
that's one of the weird things. But it's like when they sat around and invented it, like, okay, we're going to have lots of classic rock, and it's like something that we think of on a car trip.
Yeah,
there'll be classic rock and monsters, and all the demons will be quite hot. There was some really good stuff in it. Some of it was so well thought out.
Yeah,
like the Angels and Megatron stuff. That was quite involved, really.
Yeah, yeah.
The hierarchy of the Angels was well researched as well. Now it's just great. I mean, and I thought they ended it as well as you probably could end Supernatural after that bloody long.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, I can't see Sam. I know Dean's doing, Ackles is doing the prequel thing,
the Winchesters thing. Yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
I'm kind of like, I'd be quite willing to let a little time go by and let's go again.
Yeah,
like there's something's happened to heaven.
Yeah,
the demons have infiltrated heaven and they're grown up, and it's a completely newly written thing, but with Sam and Dean still being Sam and Dean.
Yeah.
I'd go another 10 years with that.
Yeah, definitely.
They're not going to do anything else. They tried, didn't they?
Yeah, I think out of all of the TV shows that I've got on my list here, it's the one I have watched the most times.
It's just popcorn, but it's just fantastic.
Yeah,
and that's presumably on both of our lists.
it's certainly on mine. Yeah,
certainly on mine too. Is that the first one we've had? Oh no, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, that and Game of Thrones, I think. Yeah, we've kind of like danced around a few things, haven't we?
So, I'm gonna. What shall I throw in here? I know you haven't seen it, so I won't dwell on it. But I think Californication might be the greatest TV show of all time.
Oh no, that's three greatest TV shows of all time already.
It's getting tough. I'm just going to leave that there. There's no point discussing it if you've not seen it. I know you will. I know you will. But interestingly, Duchovny smokes the same cigarettes that the smoking man did on purpose.
Was it Marley? Was it Marley?
I don't know. I saw it the other day. That's quite a cool little thing.
Yeah. I think they were called Marley, wasn't it? That they were, because when they were kind of like imitation Marlboro.
I think so. I read that. I never noticed it. But there's some great things in Californication. Like he wrote 3 books: God Hates Us All, Seasons in the Abyss, and you can guess the other one. The other Slayer album.
South of Heaven?
Yeah,
No?
South of Heaven, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the titles of his 3 books. It's kind of cool if you're a bit of a metalhead and you can sort of like go, no one else is laughing.
Right.
There's loads of that stuff in it.
I say I've got the first 3 DVDs came through the other week, didn't they? So they're there. They're definitely. I definitely need to pull them out.
We'll come back to that another day. Hit me.
Duchovny is like he is like the same kind of actor as Jensen Ackles, though. He's so good at being serious, but he's got just perfect comedy time.
After Californication, he did. What the hell is it called? It might be called The Zodiac Killer. Something like that, where he plays a detective chasing Charles Manson. You seen that?
No.
It may not be called The Zodiac Killer, but I think it is. And they never finished it. It's one of those that they just dropped, and you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's great.
He was excellent in the Evolution, wasn't he? Did you see that one, the movie?
He's a bit like Keanu Reeves, isn't he? In that he just plays himself.
Yeah.
And yet somehow pulls it off, like Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Just Jack being Nicholson. Me, but believe me or don't believe me, it's up to you, kind of thing.
Yeah. He is superb. Superb.
But the rest of the cast is equally as brilliant as he is. But maybe we'll have a Californication special when you've caught up a little bit.
I've watched some.
I'd like that. Hit me with another.
Okay. So let's go Black Sails.
Man did not land on the moon. Black Sails? What, the pirate thing?
Yeah.
Really?
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I watched about 6 of them.
The first.
Do I need to go back and revisit?
Yeah, you need to get past the first 6 of them. seriously, the first part of the first series, it was all kind of like. Do you remember when they did Spartacus? They turned Spartacus into a TV show, didn't they? No,
Did not
did you not
watch
watch that? No, I could not watch it because it was kind of like it was swords and sandals and TNA, and there was way too much
Oh.
It was.
Wait, let me just cue that up.
There was way too much fucking TNA. It was took away from the storylines and everything, and it just could not end up watching it. And Black Sails kind of started off in the same way, where they kind of like put too much emphasis on nudity and sex kind of thing, at the beginning of it. But after you got through a few episodes of it, that kind of like disappeared and it turned into proper story. And it ended up being basically the prehistory of Long John Silver.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was just kind of like it took me completely by surprise. It was kind of like, I was like, oh, I really wanted this to be good because it was pirates and stuff like that, and it was all, there's a lot of shagging in it and a lot of this, and then it was all of a sudden it kind of like got into a serious story, and it just became really, really good.
Noted.
I have watched that several times now, and each time I watch it, I think the same thing. First few episodes, you get the characters, but you also get a lot of the, with it that you don't really need.
Yeah.
But after it becomes a really serious fucking pirate thing.
All right,
Very
noted.
cool.
Yeah, I have learned something else. Excellent.
It's very cool. Very worth watching.
I hope this is on your list, but probably not. And again, not a lot to say about it, but I love Starsky and Hutch. I think it's up there, right at the top.
It is
Greatest
not on
of
my
all time.
It is not on my list, but however, I think if you find my diary from the 70s, it would be in there. My
It's
Disney diary.
If I look at, like, on this list, I've got the side of my show on my screen here. I've got this best TV shows of all time, and then above it is top 10 70s movies, which we've not done yet.
Oh, right, okay.
And I think Starsky and Hutch started my love of crime shows, cop fiction. Just bring it. Just totally. I can get lost so easily. I don't know. It's the buddy thing. It Starsky had a great theme tune. It had a great car. And I found out the other day that quite early on, Paul Michael Glaser didn't want to do it anymore.
All right.
He hated it, which kind of puts a bit of a downer on it for me.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be a director. I was like, oh, but you were my hero, man.
Yeah.
I have dressed like you for 40 years of my life. and now you tell me you don't want to be that guy.
Oh no, dude. But well, you didn't go for the fro though, did you?
Well, if I showed you some pictures of when I was younger, it ain't far off. I've got the cardigan.
The cardigan.
I've got the car with bald tires.
Superb.
I've got the buddy with a worse car than mine.
Yes, you have.
Just to, I don't know. I just look, and my favorite episode is the one where Starsky shoots her. I think he's a bank robber. He takes aim and he shoots and he hits a girl by mistake. And I think he hits her in the face. And she ends up being blind. And he feels so bad that he spends the whole episode with a blindfold on, trying to understand what it's like to be blind. And then, if I remember rightly, he tries to date her. And it all goes really tits up badly wrong. Hey, aren't you the guy that shot her? We haven't told her yet. I remember some great writing in those shows. It was the 70s.
Yeah. I remember when I was growing up as well, though, that Starsky and Hutch, the ones that you thought, because you kind of like thought, well, everybody loves David Soul because he's kind of like the blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy. But everybody that I knew fancied Starsky.
It's the way it goes, I'm afraid. It's the car, right?
Everybody.
Chicks dig the car.
Yeah. Yeah. But how many TV shows did that kind of spawn, do you think?
Oh, Christ.
That sort of thing.
Absolutely loads. It must have spawned the buddy cop thing, right?
Yeah. Even the more serious stuff like, Miami Vice and stuff has come from that, hasn't it?
I just wanted an apartment like his. That's why I wanted to be a copper, as in not a copper. Just wanted to be a detective and be cool and funny and do good things and sometimes be in trouble. And I don't know. It's weird. Out of all those 70s things, More Than $6 Million Man, Starsky and Hutch was my thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember those nylon T-shirts you used to get at the seaside with the iron-on design? They were always made of nylon, and when you took them off, they'd like leave a scar on your nose. I had a couple of them with Starsky and Hutch. Ah, dear. I could watch them forever, over and over.
Surely Bad Boys is got to be, based on that's got to evolve from Starsky and Hutch, hasn't it?
But surely everything was like Dukes of Hazzard must have been a riff on it. Jesus, just everything. Cagney and Lacey, Cannon and Ball. No, wait, that's not right. Although that would have been a good name for a cop show.
If only it hadn't been stolen.
Yeah, by a couple of blokes who weren't really funny. Even though as I sit here, swear to God, I went to see The Boys in Blue, the Cannon and Ball movie, at the fucking cinema by myself because no one would come with me. That's when we just used to go to the cinema because you went to the cinema.
Right. So another podcast, Lessons Learned.
Yeah. Although I don't regret going. I wasn't beaten up when I came out or anything.
No.
Girls didn't speak to me for a few years after, but...
You told them? You told them?
Get back to school. Hey, did you do anything good at the weekend? Oh, I went to see The Boys in Blue, the Cannon and Ball movie. And okay. We went to the footy match or we drank cider in the park. Not me.
Don't ask me what
the plot was.
No, I wasn't going to say that. No, I was going to say what was the one that was Morecambe and Wise? They did one, didn't they?
Did they?
they did a movie where they were spies or something like that, or cops or something like that.
I
As well.
must look that up. Okay, what you got for me now?
Oh. So we've done Black Sails, we've done X-Files, we've done Supernatural. Let's throw a curveball in because it's weird because it was only one season, but what a great
Coronation Street, the never-ending season. Actually, to be fair, that probably is one of the greatest TV shows of all time. Based on viewing figures, I'm not even going to go there, but it probably is if you ask TV critics.
Can't stand those things. I can't stand them. Those soap opera things like the.
No, but you knew who Ina Sharples was when I mentioned her.
Yeah. Yeah, I did, and now you've completely ruined my intro into this next thing. So I'm not sure I want to. I'm not sure I want to even mention it now.
Go on, hit me with it.
It's The Lost Room.
That
one
is
series.
Fucking brilliant. 3 episodes. Absolute genius.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten all about it.
It's just the premise is that kind of like is a guy who goes into a hotel room, isn't he? And he kind of like, and he finds different kind of like items that lead him into different situations.
Yeah, the first episode's called something like The Key, and then the second one's called like The Eyeball.
Yeah.
And the third one's called something else, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just, when I watched it, I kind of like thought, this is so good. This is going to go forever. You know, it was kind of like, you know, one of those things like Lost, and it was like, you know, and then they finished it after one season, one short season. It was like, why?
I thought that was very wise. I came across it by accident. And I lost this. That sounds quite good. And it was brilliant because there was no hype. No one else I knew was watching it. It was like my own secret fab show.
Yeah.
And then it was over. I can't even remember hardly anything about it. But the guy goes through different doors and ends up in different, I don't know if he's in alternative universes or just, yeah. But he's like some gumshoe, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's trying to solve a crime, and other people are trying to sort of like stop him from solving the crime in the first place as well. So every time he turns up in an alternative sort of like reality, kind of like there's somebody there who's trying to stop him from finding out more about the thing before he gets back to his room, you know, to find the next clue. It's so good. It really is.
Has it got anyone famous in it?
I don't think so.
I don't think it has either.
I mean, it might do now, but I don't think it did at the time. You know, I don't think there was, you know, certainly nobody that I recognised at the time when it came out.
Let me see. I don't remember it being anyone in particular. Peter Krause, Juliana Margiles, Peter Jacobson, Kevin Pollak, Roger Bart.
Oh, Kevin Pollak. You know Kevin Pollak. He was in The Usual Suspects and that, wasn't
he? If you say so. Why do I know the name Margaret Cho? What has she been in? She is in... No, I know she's a comedian. Right, okay. Anyway, excellent choice. And a show I'd forgotten about.
Yeah.
It's never been on TV that much, is it? Considering it's just 3 episodes.
No, it's just it was just sort of like very, like I say, very, very short, very, you know, should have been much better. and just disappeared.
But at least it ended properly, so far as I recall.
The show. The Lost Room is the lost show.
It certainly is. Not as lost as that show I mentioned called The River, which even Google doesn't know.
Oh, no, I've got that written down here as well. There's the Lost spin-off thing, yeah.
I believe it. I'm totally sure it was, but I've been totally sure about other things in my life. They didn't pan out good either. I'm going to throw both of... I've got two left. And I'm going to throw them both in at the same time. Because we'll either end up talking about them a lot or not at all, in which case I'll just join in on your stuff. One of them is Spiral.
Right.
The French crime show that ran for 7 seasons, I think. And the other one is The Killing, the Danish, I can't even pronounce, Forbrydelsen thing, which was 26 episodes of hell.
Right. That's the one they redid The Killing, didn't they, as an American one?
Yeah, in Seattle. And it is very good, the Seattle one, really.
Yeah.
But it ain't the original. It was like, if there's a cast, let's say there was a cast of 100 people. Have you seen it?
I've seen both. I've seen both versions of The Killing. I've seen 2 seasons of Spiral, but I haven't seen anything more than that.
So with the Killing, it's like if there's 100 people in the show, it could have been any of the 99 people that went Sophie Grabble. It was just like, what is going on? There was politics, furniture removal, crime, snow, smoking, snow, moving furniture.
So was Doug Bradley in it then? At some point?
Man moving mattress.
just to keep those listeners on their toes if they've not been paying attention to the previous podcasts.
Now, Eleanor doesn't like things that burn really slowly, and this is the slowest burning cop show ever. I think she struggled through it with me, but is it 26 episodes? I think it is. It's so long, but I thought it was just bloody superb. And then Spiral is French. It's kind of like Hill Street Blues, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in the opening sort of 5 minutes, you get dead girl in a skip in the rain, people smoking, Paris. I was all in. And I watched the first season and then I lost track of it. And then I found by surreptitious means the whole lot. And the first year of the lockdown, I watched them all back to back, just like non-stop, which took me about, I don't know, 9 weeks or something. I watched nothing else. But from watching it week to week, across I think it's 7 seasons, the continuity is like they never stop making it. There's no like gap between the actors look the same and the same things going on, and I thought it was just absolutely brilliant. And all of which just goes to sort of like, once upon a time I was of the opinion that Americans probably made the best shows ever. But over the last sort of 15 years, as I've gone really Euro on everyone's ass with the cop shows, man, they do a good job. There's so many good ones out there. People spoil it for themselves when they can't do subtitles. Just so much stuff.
Yeah. It's hard though, isn't it? It is hard. And I mean, I struggle with some of it. I've got to be honest, but some of it I've kind of like, I'm so glad that I've stuck with. Yeah. I'm just trying to flick through here now because it's just reminded me of fucking hell, what's it? Crimson Rivers with Jean Reno.
Yeah.
Did you see those two?
Yeah.
What superb pair of movies those were. But also, while we're talking about French stuff, was it called Brotherhood of the Wolf?
Oh,
what a great movie!
Like a couple of years ago, maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago, we found this show on Netflix called Sniffer.
Right.
And it's a Ukrainian cop show. But the main guy is really good at smelling.
Right.
Eleanor found it, and I said, just put it on for a minute. Let's just see how bad it is. 3 seasons later, you're like, that is so good. It was like the Ukrainian TV industry put every penny they could find into this one show. It's funny, it's exciting, it's clever. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it's bloody brilliant.
It's like a Ukrainian superhero. What's your superpower? Well, I can tell you.
I can't even think what it's like. It's just not like anything. Do you know? It's like, well, I've never seen Ukrainian TV before. Obviously, watched Western shows and gone, that's how you make TV, so we'll do that.
What was it on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh, why is that? Oh no, why has that gone to that? No.
Some of the posters are excellent. I think it's Ukrainian.
Sniffer
2013. They call him the Sniffer. He's the proud owner of an acute sense of smell. He knows things about you even you don't know. And the tagline of it is the nose that knows.
No, it's not on. It's not on Netflix anymore.
Oh, that's a shame. Where can I watch Sniffer? It's on that weird freebie Amazon thing.
Oh right, okay, yeah, with adverts in it.
Yeah, totally worth a watch.
I'm gonna put that down.
Yeah, you should. It's really good. It's good fun.
I thought it was, maybe a documentary on the life and times of the spider guitarist, but
we are learning so much, and that's it. That's my top 10 of all time.
I've got so many things to talk about, though. Still,
that's okay because we can keep going. I'm just telling you, I've run out.
Well, we touched on The Walking Dead, so let's go for Walking Dead because we can really talk about that.
Before you start, though, let me tell you that back in the day, everyone was telling me I should watch The Walking Dead, and I hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch it, and I started watching it 2 years ago, and I watched it all like I did with Spiral. In fact, it might have been after Spiral. I just started and I just watched all of it at once. No other TV, just that. And it's pretty unshakable.
There's so much to it, isn't there? Really. I watched the first season when it first came out because it was kind of like, it was based on the comic books and it was Frank Darabont and it was kind of like, this is, this is going to be really, really shit or really good.
Yeah.
And it was really, really good. And I hate watching things when they first start because you have to wait forever for the next series then, and it's really tedious in between times. And you kind of like, then you end up kind of like going, well, okay, so season 2's out now, but it's been like 12 months since I've seen season 1. So let's watch season 1 and 2 together. And then you kind of like watch season 2 and you go, wow, that was really good. Now let's wait for season 3. So another 12 months passes. And then you go, season 3's out now. What shall I do? Let's watch seasons 1, 2, and 3 together. And that's kind of exactly the same way I ended up watching Game of Thrones. But I mean, just superb characters in it again. Really good story. Some of it's complete fucking stupidity as well, isn't it? Because there's some things that you would never do in a million years if you were in that situation. You know, you wouldn't put yourself in those sort of like perils if you didn't need to be, would you? And stuff. And every kind of like couple of seasons, there comes along the same bad guy with a different name, kind of thing. You know, basically, you know, some megalomaniac that's, you know, not that's not got a clue about how to survive in this world other than beat people up and bully people and stuff, you know.
Much like Supernatural, though, there was so much fun to be had. You'd let them get away with anything, right? It was just my gripe with it is towards the end, it became less about the dead.
Yeah,
the zombies were just kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
I thought they really should have written them into it more, but so be it. So be it. I did like Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I kind of got to like that a bit more.
I kind of like that as well. I think I'm the end of season 5 on that now. And Kim Dickens is just fucking brilliant, isn't she? The mom.
Oh right, yeah. That's right, because it starts in suburbia, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's all really normal.
Yeah, and there's no kind of like there's no kind of big deal about it other than the fact that the son is shooting up heroin in a fucking abandoned church with other people and stuff, and then all of a sudden he wakes up and half of the people that he's like been shooting up with have been eaten. and then he just kind of like goes, oh, this is not good, and he kind of like walks out, sees something that he doesn't like and runs away, and then it kind of like, you know, it develops from there, but there's never any kind of like big sort of, you know, this is happening to the world sort of thing, you know.
Yeah,
it just kind of
strange,
really,
isn't it?
Yeah,
but it was different enough. Sorry, I'm just looking here. Fear the Walking Dead season 8 will premiere in 2023. Blah blah. Doesn't say exactly when though. Oh, could we have to wait a year, couldn't we?
I will.
Oh no, wait a minute. Could arrive early 23. That'd be all right. No, great show. Great show. Definitely one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Even though I ignored it for about 8 years, 9 years, 10 years.
Well, I say that I didn't see Game of Thrones until season 3 had come out. I didn't watch it because people kind of like were going Game of Thrones, and I was going, oh yeah, but I really don't want it to be shit. I really don't want it to be shit. And so I just kind of left it, and then they did like a 3-box set thing in in HMV or whatever. You know, it's the first 3 seasons. I was kind of like, well, there's enough of them out now that I can watch it and actually have some, you know, there's some beef to it now, you know. So I did that, and it was like,
no, good stuff.
Right. So I'm going to throw in probably a horrendous one that you've never seen and that you may never see either. Even though I've sent you many clips from the series, and it's still Game, which is the Scottish comedy series.
No, I have not watched that.
There's 3 seasons of it, and it is just one of the funniest things I have ever seen in my life. It just makes me howl every time. It's basically the story of two Scottish pensioners living in high-rise flats in the outskirts of Glasgow,
Right.
And just everyday life where their life revolves around their flat, the pub, and the local shop. Basically, nothing else.
Wow, 9 seasons.
Is it 9 seasons? Is it?
Yeah. Although, as far as I can see, they might be quite short seasons. 6 episodes. Is that about right?
Yeah, could be. I kind of like watched it all on a loop sort of thing. But there was a break between one of them as well. I think the last one there was a big break between it. It's sort of like 2 years or something between the one where they finished, and then they did another extra one at the end. But they've got live concerts of it and stuff where they've actually done a tour of it.
Really?
And they've done it all like stagecraft and stuff.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but it is just some of the funniest stuff I have ever seen. Honestly, it's obviously not pensioners. There was a TV show that came out before it called Chewing the Fat. Again, Scottish TV comedy show, several seasons, and most of the characters were developed in that ended up being in Still Game, sort of thing, But yeah, Jack and Victor, the two main characters, are just fucking superb. And then you've got like fucking Bobby, the barman from the pub, and you've got like Winston, who loses his leg from smoking too much and ends up having a false leg, and you've got Tam, who's the tightest bastard in the world, and he'll fucking tell stories around this, that, and the other until he gets a free pint and stuff like that, And it is just fucking superb. Really, really funny. If
I'll stick it on our list.
Yeah, definitely worth watching. I think that was all the main ones.
Funnily enough, I asked Eleanor what hers would be the other day, and she'd included the Detectorists in her all-time.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, okay. That's pretty good.
It's okay, but
it's pretty good, but
all-time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's funny, isn't it? What people, well, not funny, but I mean,
I think Kate would have
just loved it. Oh, Desperate Housewives! I forgot about that too.
Which is a superb show. That's
really
good.
What is good that I've forgotten about till now? Carnival.
Oh yes.
Now that was a good show.
Only 2 series though.
And probably just as well.
Another short one, yeah. That's
that had yeah.
Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have the DVD box set and don't own DVDs or player anymore, but I've only ever seen it once.
Yeah.
But I remember loving it. There must be some great stuff out that we've just forgotten about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely in there. That I've got both series there on box set.
Did you ever see talking of comedy, BBC show called Nighty Night?
No.
Make a note of it and have a look for it. Probably find it on YouTube. I think it's just one really short series.
Right.
I don't even know what it was about, but I remember laughing. Julia Davis, BBC, 2004. Is it on YouTube?
It's just kind of like one of those things like My Family.
No.
You kind of like No.
No, it's on iPlayer apparently. There's only it's just it's hilarious. Like
Yeah.
proper, no, not like My Family at all, which is not funny.
It's kind of like one of those things, though, that sort of like you have on the background, and every now and again, sort of like something will happen, and you kind of like go, and then you.
I might like to throw the in-betweeners in.
Do you know? I have
No,
not
no,
seen Betweeners. I've seen the movies, but I've not seen the TV shows. although about a week before Christmas, I was in this house.
Well, let me guess.
3-season box set. Thank you very much.
Shrink wrapped.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, unfortunately. It was a little bit grubby, but it's the discs are fine. So it's another one that I've put to one side for watching later.
I'm very tempted to write to try and write a sitcom about house clearance.
Really?
Yeah, it'd be brilliant. Do you not think? Just one of them sort of like you can have a different location every time and stuff you find, and you and your friend and your buddy, and what you decide to keep or not, and how much stuff you've all got at home, and how you can, it could be brilliantly written.
It probably could, actually. Yeah. I could probably give.
Starring Cannon and Ball.
Boys in blue overalls.
You got it.
I could probably give you some background information on some of that. Yeah,
It'd be funny as hell.
One of the when I first started working for this place, which, believe it or not, is coming up to 20 years ago now. Because I started off as an agency, and whenever there was a drop in works, shall we say, you would get moved into a different sort of place. So so maybe I'd be doing plumbing for 6 months, and then they'd say, like, oh, we've got a backlog on this. Can you drop off the plumbing and go and help out the house clearance, stuff like that? Just jump on the wagon with them. And yeah, no problem. I didn't care what I was doing because I was getting paid for it. Didn't matter. And one of the first things I did when I was on the shit wagon, we used to call it the shit wagon, was they got us to go and clean this flat.
There's your title right there. There's the title.
Shit wagon. So we went up to this. It was a 3-story building. So the flat was on the top floor, and we got in there, and it was like the flat from Train Spotting. So there was like 3 or 4 mattresses in the living room on the floor, blood everywhere, needles everywhere. People have been pissing in bottles and stuff like that. The toilet was just fucking rancid. And I thought, and before I'd started this job, I'd been working with Drew for a bit, and we'd been putting heating systems in for fucking footballers, So I've been putting central heating systems in for people like David James and stuff who played for Liverpool and things like that. So when I first got into this job, it was like, oh my God, what the fuck have I walked into here? And I'm sure that's what most of these house clearance people must think when they first come to it,
Yeah.
It's just, some of the stuff that you come across is just unreal, the way people live, it's crazy.
Scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so
we got about 4 minutes.
Oh,
So
okay.
we could probably wrap it up nicely.
Oh, so you want to stop now? You don't want to talk about all the other stuff that I've got on the list?
Well, we could jump in another day.
Well, I'm sure we could probably go another day with some of the stuff that we've got between us.
Yeah. Read through your list and I'll stop you.
So I've got Heroes.
Yep, brilliant. I never watched the last season where they came back after the writers' strike.
No.
Any good? I should do.
It was good, but it
lost its way, didn't it?
It got a little bit thin. Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Monk on there as well, which is another one of my favourites.
That's one of Ellen's favourites, actually.
I just think it's brilliant. I've got Hannibal.
Never seen it.
Which is just fucking superb. It's absolutely jaw-droppingly good.
Yeah, I must watch that.
I've got The Following with Kevin Bacon, which started out really good.
And fell off a cliff.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got House.
Good choice.
Which, again, absolutely love. I've got Vikings on there.
Never got to. I got quite far with that, and I lost the thread, and I haven't gone back to it. It's still going, isn't it?
Yeah, same as me. I think I got to about 4 seasons of it, and kind of like ran out of steam then. And but I need to go back to that definitely. I have got. I don't know how much longer we've got on here. I've got Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is the
comedy.
The comedy.
Yeah.
Which again, absolutely brilliant comedy. And then the last one I've got on my list, my main one, is Penny Dreadful.
What a fantastic show that was.
Yeah.
Loved that. I was quite sad when it finished.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to find a 3-season Blu-ray box set of that for about 15 quid.
And I thought you were going to say in a house.
No. I actually paid for that. But it was secondhand, and it was just like absolutely mint, like as if somebody had kind of like gone, "Oh, I bought you this thing for Christmas," and gone,
"What the fuck is that?
That doesn't sound very good. I'll take that to CEX and get."
That was a great show.
Yeah.
That's all, folks.